controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is episode 40 of Press Pause, the gaming podcast. How are you, my friend?
We need to go to the doctor and get our pod state checked.
Whoa.
This is what you're supposed to do at 40, right? 40 episodes?
We're starting with the dad jokes. All right. We're starting with the dad jokes. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not getting my prostate checked, but I like the joke. Oh,
you should at 40.
I mean, I don't enjoy it. Or I won't enjoy it, I should say.
Well, no, look. Nobody's going to enjoy it, but it's... You
don't say nobody. Trust me. We got some...
Well, okay, but
yeah.
The point is... It's better than having cancer.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah, I don't want
get
that.
it over and done with once you turn 40.
Yep.
Come back when they tell you to come back. I think it's like every 5 years or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's more often the older you get, if I remember correctly. Well, how was your week?
My week was filled with communism.
Okay.
And class injustice.
Sure.
And fucking disco.
I mean,
lots of disco.
I mean, that's an accurate description of your week.
Also, in addition to that, I finished Disco Elysium.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. It was a weird week. It was a very weird week.
We had fucking snow yesterday.
We had lots of snow.
Yeah.
It didn't stay. No. But it snowed like all day long.
Mm-hmm.
It's April 11th as of this recording, and
I have been doing a thing that I have never imagined that I would be doing in April, which is I have my winter coat on my bed for if I wake up in the morning and it's freezing cold.
Huh.
And I need like something that's because like what better?
What kind of heat do you have?
Pardon?
What kind of heat do you have?
I don't know. Not enough, clearly.
Not enough. Well, that's true. I'm actually the opposite. I'm the kind of person who like keeps their window open a crack in the winter. I like it cold when I sleep.
I mean, I like it cold as well, but because it's easier to warm up than it is to cool down.
Yes.
But when I don't like it first thing in the morning.
That's fair.
I'm trying to have life enter my body, and the cold just sucks it out.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess up in the morning. Yeah, you want to be warm in the morning. Mm-hmm. That's fair, especially if you have like a not carpeted floor in your bedroom. If you have like a tile floor or like a hardwood floor.
I have a vinyl floor, which isn't particularly cold, but it's not particularly warm.
No,
it doesn't affect whatever temperature you currently are. So if you're comfortable, it's great. But if you're uncomfortable, it's going to keep you uncomfortable. It's
still bad.
Yeah, it's a very neutral floor.
For sure. Yeah. I got carpet, as you can see behind me, so I'm good in the morning when I get up. I have a weighted blanket.
Yeah,
I love it. Oh, I love it. But it does make me a little warm sometimes. But it's so comfy that I deal with it sometimes.
Yeah, my niece has one of those. They're kind of nice.
They're awesome. Yeah, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Some people feel claustrophobic in them.
Yeah.
But to each their own. I find it very, very comforting. I've always wanted to try. Do you watch like Shark Tank or like Dragon's Den or anything like that?
I've seen them occasionally.
There was a product on, I think it was Shark Tank at one point. I think it was called the product was called the Hug Sleep, which is a terrible name for a product. But it was basically kind of like it was like an alternative to a weighted blanket where it kind of like envelops you, like it's a blanket that envelops you, but it has like a restriction to it.
It adds some kind of pressure to you.
It almost forces you into the fetal position. Yeah, and how it like compresses you. And I've always wanted to try that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go that far because that would be like really bad on your back.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, to sleep like that every night. But Yeah, like there are things like that. Well, the thing is, weighted blankets are often used like therapeutically,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Like for
because
anxiety and stuff like
yeah,
that.
some people feel comforted.
Yep.
But like that's why my niece has one, is because she's very hyperactive, and it kind of like helps her chill out a little bit
Yeah.
to have this, and helps her sleep a little bit better, because getting her to sleep is like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
It's tough.
on top of her being 6 years old, which is it's
Yeah.
already hard enough to get kids to sleep. Like she's super hyperactive. So
I didn't realize how heavy they make them. I was talking to my dentist, or my dental hygienist, I guess is the proper term, and telling her that I have one that's 25 pounds.
mhm.
And she told me she had one that was 50.
Holy shit.
And I was like, and she's tiny.
Yeah.
She's probably like 98 pounds. Like she's
Jesus.
short and tiny. And I was like, how are you not dead?
Yeah.
Like, how does that thing not kill you?
That's
And
like
she's like,
that's like in Dragon Ball Z when Vegeta is training in like 5 times Earth gravity or something.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I asked her, I'm like, well, like, what? That's ridiculous. And she's like, well, I don't cover it on myself. I put it on my legs.
Oh yeah.
Because she's like me. She's got like jumpy leg syndrome. When she goes to
Mhm.
bed, like her legs won't stop.
Oh yeah.
You have to kind of like, it always feels like you want to move your legs.
Mhm.
It's annoying. And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be pretty good. That would
Yeah.
kind of force your legs to take a chill pill.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. This episode of Sleep Country Canada brought to you by no, yeah, it was a weird week. Lots of politic bullshit going on, obviously. Not going to talk about that too much. We are going to mention it though, because it does
Yeah,
affect the
it
gaming
comes
industry.
up in the news.
Yeah, twice actually. But we have a lot to talk about today. We are going to mix things up a little bit as far as the order of the show goes, just to help us organize things. However, let's get to some housekeeping first. As a reminder, we are on Spotify. If you want the audio-only edition of Press Pause Gaming Podcast, you can do so at the link in the description. And as always, you can join the Co-op Club, which is our Discord community server. There's a link in the description for you to apply to join. We have an application process. It only takes 30 seconds. It's just there to prevent bots from entering and disturbing. So fill that out if you want to join and talk to the crew. We talk every day in there. It's a lot of fun. So join if you wish. All right, let's get into the show, because we do have a lot to talk about today, starting with Metacritic Check-In, which we have a few things to mention here. So I want to update a few things, because there's been a few games that have been out, and sometimes when I go in here, a game had just come out like 2 days prior, and it only has like 6 reviews. So it's not really like a great representation.
Really an accurate reflection.
Exactly. So I want to go back and update some of the ones that only had a few, and see how they're doing, basically. And one of those is Atomfall. Atomfall is now sitting at a 75 critic score, which is fairly around where it was before, I think. But the user score is 68, which is interesting. A little bit lower.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure why. I think I've looked at it already, and it kind of... I mean, there's some reviews that are just ridiculous, obviously, but but there's a few that say the combat's not great, that the game is kind of slow and plodding. I still have yet to go back to it yet, because they haven't fixed that audio issue yet. So I do plan on going back to it. It's still installed on my system. I'm just waiting for them to patch it. But it just... I got really good vibes from it when I first started it, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I don't think that game's gonna have great legs, though. No, nothing.
No, I haven't played it. I don't really know anything about it.
The legs joke.
Oh, the legs joke. No, we're not going back there.
Okay,
we're not going back there. We're only going forward.
All right. Let's see. There's a lot of releases that I've never heard of before on here, so I could go into them, but honestly, If I've never heard of them, they're probably just indie titles that come out every single day. That being said, though, South of Midnight is out in the wild. It's now sitting at a 77 on Metacritic. A user score of 6, though, which I'm not sure why that is there either. A lot of the reviews are, for some reason, in other languages from the user scores. I have my own thoughts on that game, though, because I have played it. So I have some first impressions to give on it later in the show. So we'll kind of talk about it then. I'll save my thoughts for when we get to that. Commando's Origins also came out earlier this week. It's sitting at a 76 from critics, but a 54 from users. Lots of user pooping. Now, I'm not sure how much I trust this user score or the critic score because this is an early Metacritic review. There's only 12 critic reviews and 5 user scores. So I would say it's not enough to get a significant reflection of the quality of the product. I did play this one, though, and very quickly knew that it's not a game for me. I've talked about it on the show before, that these real-time tactical, I don't know, I just don't get them. I just don't understand why they're appealing. So it's just not my kind of game. The Talos Principle Reawakened, which is the Talos Principle remake in Unreal Engine 5, came out this week. Talos Principle, I think we talked about it last week. It's one of my favorite games. It's so good. If you are a fan of Portal or Entropy Center or any of those types of first-person puzzle games, play this. It's absolutely fantastic. On top of great puzzles, it's got a really cool, I forget the word again. Starts with a P. Philosophical story. Thank you. Yes, philosophical. That's the one. It's sitting at a 91.
No.
On Metacritic. So if you don't believe me, believe everybody. It's so good. I mean, I haven't played the remake, but
from the creators of Serious Sam, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, which is crazy to go from an all-action game to an all non-action game.
Yeah.
But absolutely fantastic game. I still have yet to play the sequel. God, I really need to get to that. Cannot recommend that game enough if you like those kind of games. Absolutely fantastic. Speaking of those kind of games, another game came out this week that is absolutely destroying the reviews. Sitting at a 93 on Metacritic currently. Blueprints, which is the first person? Good lord. First person puzzle game where you are exploring a mansion where every night you leave and come back, the mansion has rearranged itself. Mm-hmm. And it's all about trying to find the last room of the mansion. I desperately want to get to this game. It is so up my alley. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out about how much I want to play this.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool.
Yeah. User score is strangely low, but it's only based on 9 user ratings. 76. Yeah. Much lower than the 93.
Yeah, that's an interesting discrepancy.
Yeah. So, I think we all we expect the user score to always be lower than the critic score at this point on Metacritic.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but I think from what we've seen so far, I don't think the user score's ever been higher from any of the games that we've previously.
I don't think it's ever been dramatically higher. I think it's been higher by a few points at sometimes.
Nothing memorable, that's for sure.
Yeah. Usually I think user scores tend to be higher when it's a kind of a niche game.
Yeah.
And the audience that it's meant for finds it. And because the reviews, like professional reviews, they run the gamut of like people's tastes, right? Mm-hmm. But when the audience finds the game that fits their niche, they show it love, and that usually results in higher user scores.
Yeah, so we'll see how that lands. As
Mm-hmm.
give it another week, we'll check in with it again, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's a little early to tell. And then finally, Star Overdrive came out on the Switch. That's that hoverboard, third-person hoverboard-looking game.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting at a 67 on Metacritic.
Oh, that reminds me. You said you were disappointed that Hades 2 was launching on Switch 2. Apparently, I've read it's also coming to Switch 1.
Yeah, I'm still going to wait, though. My point wasn't that it was exclusive to Switch 2. It was that it was exclusive to Nintendo.
Oh, that it's not launching on PS5?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to wait for it to come out on PlayStation. It'll probably end up being on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass. So
yeah,
it's one of those games that screams put me on a free service. Not because it's bad, but just because it's like so popular that Game Pass is weird. You have the low spectrum of games. It's like, I've never heard of this game, and that's why it's on there. Is because they're not going to sell enough copies to warrant keeping it not on Game Pass, so they put it on Game Pass. And then there's the opposite side of the spectrum where the game is like a super seller, so they put it on Game Pass because Xbox or PlayStation is willing to pay the developer an exorbitant amount of money to put it on there to get more people to sign up for the service. So, and that is it for the Metacritic Check-In. So let's get into the news, and we're starting off with the Switch 2. So we did a huge Switch 2 deep dive last week.
Yeah, we did. It was a really good show, I think.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Probably one of our best.
I completely agree. We did miss some things, though, and some things have come to light since then.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into a few of those things now. And we actually have a letter for letter time. For this topic in a while. Well. I haven't had one of those in a while. Nope. And it's someone we know. It's someone we know. But I'm gonna go into the actual news bit first before we get to the letter. Just to go over what we missed and what's been updated. So first off, the upgrade packs. There was no price on them.
Yes, they have a price now.
They have a price now. They are $10 US, which is exactly what PlayStation does. There is more to this story, though. We've already gone into how you and I feel about the upgrade packs, so
yes,
that hasn't changed. It's still the same. Now, I previously said that if it was 20 or 30, I'd be like, fuck that shit. So the fact that it's equal to the competitors, I'm okay with that. However, some other news came out regarding upgrade packs, and that is that the Switch 2 physical editions of games are literally the Switch 1 edition of the game with the upgrade pack.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
So there's literally no reason for you to buy a Switch 2 edition of any game ever. You might as well just find the Switch 1 edition used or on sale somewhere and then buy the upgrade pack and you'll save money.
Yeah, if you can.
Bizarre.
If you can. It is, well, I can see the point in doing that because it basically gives reprints to games, or it potentially gives reprints to games that could do with a reprint. But I mean, a lot of those games I think are probably going to be first party games, so yeah,
probably true. Yeah. I just think it's dumb. Like, why even bother with a physical edition then?
Well, because
for the people that don't have internet, I guess.
Like I'm okay with that because I would like there to be physical copies whenever possible. I know that it's not always possible or prudent to do so, and I understand that, and that's fine. But whenever it is, I would like for there to be physical copies.
I think my biggest problem with it isn't all of the games; it's one particular game, and that's Metroid Prime 4. Why does that game just not have a native version on Switch 2?
Well, I mean, it might not make a difference. I mean, because the Switch 2 architecture is so similar to the Switch 1, it's a more powerful version of it. Like,
this just tells me that the game was made for Switch 1. That's what it tells me.
Well, of course it was. It's been in development for so long.
Yeah. Well, it's a little disappointing to me that this is why it's disappointing to me is that it is a Switch 1 game. Period. Right. So we really can't expect this game to take advantage of the Switch 2 in significant ways.
Why not?
Because it's not going to. I guarantee you. That's why we're going to get. I guarantee you that this is going to be one of the only games that does 4K 120 frames per second or whatever they claimed, and that's because it's a Switch 1 game. You're not going to get a Switch 2 exclusive that's 4K 120 frames per second. You're just not going to.
Technically, I don't think we're going to get any Switch games that are native 4K. I think it's going to be mostly DLSS.
Well, you know what I mean, though. It's in 4K. So, like, sorry, it's not 4K 120. It's 1080p. Yeah,
1080p
4K 60 and 1080p
4K 60. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the only game that ever accomplishes that. I just don't see a native. I don't know, man. I've been promised the world before from these companies, and they fail.
Yeah, but like
miserably.
You're talking about a native version when the native version will use like 99% of the same code. Like it is as far as I understand, the Switch 2 is mostly a straight upgrade from the Switch 1. Like it's not like it's a different architecture or anything. It's just a more recent version of that hardware.
Well, we don't really know because Nintendo won't really talk about it.
Well, we kind of do because it's still an NVIDIA ARM system on a chip. So
yeah, they say it's a custom chip with a custom version of the DLSS upscaling.
Yeah, but it's still the ARM architecture, so it'll still run ARM code. You know,
I don't know. I hate to be the pessimist in the room, but I don't think we'll see it. I think this thing is not as powerful as we think it is, and I do have a little bit of evidence to support it, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But we'll continue on. So yeah, that's all about the Switch 2 editions and the upgrade packs. All that is good. We talked about game key cards. So last week we talked about how the some of the physical editions will come with a game card that has a game key on it, and that is specifically labeled on the front of the box art. Yeah, that it is a game key edition. So maybe I just misunderstood how this works, but I was under the assumption that it basically just gives you a download key that activates onto your Nintendo account. That's not how it works. So the way that it works is that version of the game will always require you to have an internet connection because the game key card connects to the internet to confirm that it is a legitimate copy of the game. And you cannot play that game without the cart in the system still. So it's basically like having a cart, except now it requires the internet. So my question is, what happens when the Switch 2 servers go offline? Those games are just...
Yeah, those games are toast.
Those games are fucking useless.
I did not hear about the internet requirement.
Yeah. Yeah, so it basically... So the reason that they're doing this is because you can still trade it. So it's not like a digital version in the sense that once you have it, you can't sell it. You can't do anything with it. It just stays on your account. At least with this version, you can sell it. But it's like in 15, 20 years...
It's going to have zero value. It's just it's going
to be a piece of plastic. It's not going to do anything. Yeah. So I don't know. It's even more confounding and strange to me that
like that is like objectively worthless to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I appreciate that they're doing it in a way that you can still resell it, but since there's no game on there, there's no point because you're going to be reselling what is, and it's in some point in time, an inert piece of plastic.
Yeah, it's stupid. So dumb. Also, what's changed since last week is Canadian pre-orders were delayed as well as the US. So they haven't really clarified if pricing is also affected.
Yeah, pricing sounds like it's kind of up in the air right now. I see a lot of speculation, but not a whole lot of confirmed info.
A lot of speculation. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious how long they're going to take, because now that the tariffs have a 90-day pause, that's after the 90 days ends after the Switch 2 comes out.
They have a 90-day pause as of right now, but who the fuck knows?
Oh yeah, I mean,
how that'll be next week.
Yeah. If the 90-day pause, here's the problem though, is that they have to make a decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't wait until the day of the Switch release, so
to price it, right?
To price it, so they got to do, and they're not going to just be like, you can't pre-order it in the States or Canada. They're not going to do that. So they're going to have to pick a price and double down on it. So frustrating.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been a worse time to launch this console.
Yeah, like, this is something I'm almost never going to say ever. But it's really not fair to Nintendo.
No, it's not.
Like, they have done a lot of shit, and there are a lot of problems that are their fault. This is actually not one of them, and it is actually unfair to them. Because they are completely removed from any of this shit, and they're just, they're trying to sell a product, and they're just one of, so many businesses that are getting fucked over by this bullshit.
Yeah.
That the Trump administration won't even actually put its foot down on and
they just won't do it.
Yeah, because 2 weeks ago it was we're doing tariffs, and then as of a few days ago it was oh well, we'll do a 90-day pause, and like I said, who the fuck knows how it'll be in a few days.
And I quote Trump: "People were getting yippee." The fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's just there's just no way. You really
can't predict it.
I don't want to get conspiratorial or anything, because I don't believe that this is some kind of major conspiracy. I think it's mostly just stupid people, but it almost feels like intentional sabotage. But
I know.
At the same time, it's but this guy's money is if the American economy tanks, doesn't this guy's money also tank too? Yep. So it doesn't seem like a conspiracy, even though it's
he's just an idiot.
Even though this is the way that somebody would sabotage an economy deliberately, I don't think he's doing it deliberately. I think he's just genuinely a moron.
Yeah. Which is sad, because he's supposed to be a great businessman, and he's trying to apply his business practices to the world economy, and it's not how it works, man.
Yeah, now he's going to bankrupt everybody's casino instead of just his own.
Yeah. I love how his approval rating's dropping. It's no shit. He literally told you he was going to do this, and now you're not happy about it because he's doing it.
Now that he's like a tick. Now he's embedded in, and getting him out is going to be harder than preventing him from getting in. So he doesn't give a fuck, and he doesn't have to run for re-election.
Well, he can't technically.
Well, he can't technically. Yeah.
Technically,
again, politics, but
yeah.
But this isn't this is. I mean, and this is to be fair. Again, this is a thing that I will almost never say, but to be fair to Donald Trump, this is a thing that all presidents do, which is they do their crazier shit in the second term when they don't have to worry about re-election.
Re-election. Yeah,
that's when the gloves come off and they do whatever the fuck they want.
It's true.
It's just that his has been crazy and harmful instead of just crazy and harmful, but this is less focused crazy and harmful, and more just throwing a grenade into a crowd of people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not targeting a specific group of people. You just pulling the pin and going whoop.
Yeah.
Let it land where it
He's using a shotgun and seeing what sticks. You know what I'm saying? He's just Yeah. I like how his supporters are oh, he meant to do this. He meant to pull back right at the last second.
Yeah.
It's no, he didn't. He thinks he knows what he's doing, and people are starting to revolt. So now he's pulling back. It's well, maybe listen in the first place. I don't know. So yeah, we can't pre-order it until
shit gets figured out.
I would put money on. So if I was Nintendo, I think it's pretty obvious what you do. You keep the price the same everywhere except for the U.S. and you punish the U.S. because they're the ones doing it. Why would you?
Yeah, I mean, but it's not that simple because,
send a message.
But it's not as simple as just sending a message, because there are so many economic factors that come into it.
Sure.
That you can't just price it one way, Because what's going to happen is people are going to get them from Canada, right? And then
From
they're
what?
American.
People are going to get them from what?
From Canada.
Oh, from Canada.
Yeah, like people will buy Canadian because they're the same exact unit. So
Yeah.
they're going to lose business at retail in the States. That's going to piss off their retail partners there. You know.
Blame your president.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People
I
don't
know, man.
people don't do that. Like
I know.
Well, I think what Nintendo is going to have to do is just say we will eat this because we know this thing is going to sell.
Oh boy. I say raise the price.
Yeah, but look.
I'm not buying it anyway, so I really couldn't give two shits.
Microsoft and Sony sell their consoles at a loss when they introduce them all the time. I think Nintendo can afford to do that for once. They're fucking Nintendo.
They haven't confirmed whether or not the current price is profitable or not, which is interesting because normally they're like, "Yeah, we're selling it at a $50 markup or whatever."
Yeah, but like this is Nintendo. They generally aim to sell at a profit. Maybe not the fattest profit margin, but they try not to sell for a loss ever.
Maybe it's $3.99 for them.
Yeah,
maybe they're making $50.
Who knows? But I just because as a general rule, Nintendo tries not to sell at a loss. I would assume that they've probably not priced this to sell at a loss.
Yeah, I assume so as well. Yeah. Okay, what else here? So two things about Zelda. Zelda. Two new things about the Zelda games have been confirmed. The Zelda Switch 2 editions. Number one. They both run at 4K 60 HDR, which is awesome.
Nice.
That's beautiful. However, even if you buy the Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild, it still does not include the DLC.
What?
So you still have to... which makes sense now that we know that the Switch 2 edition is the Switch 1 game with an upgrade pack.
Yeah, but come on.
Yeah, I know. So if you were to buy the Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild and the DLC, you would be paying $90.
That is an 8-year-old game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
Yep. $90, folks,
the DLC
worth a full experience.
Isn't even that significant.
Breath of the Wild, don't they add just like a story of the champions or something like that? And a bike?
There's a quest. It's basically there's like a hard mode quest that nets you a motorcycle at the end, and the motorcycle is sick. Don't get me wrong, love that motorcycle.
But they give it to you at the end of the game when it's useless.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, like why wasn't that given? Like, yeah, so annoying.
The thing is, I don't actually know if you can't get it until you beat the game, because the DLC didn't come out until after I beat the game. So, who knows?
Look it up. How to get the bike in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, see if you can get it earlier than the fucking end of the game.
You get it after beating the the Champions Ballad main quest. Which is the DLC quest. Which I think is late game, pretty sure.
Can you initiate that like at any time or what?
Upon victory, Monk Maz Koshia will summon the Guidance Stone containing the Master Cycle rune. Oh, so it's a rune.
Yeah.
So you gain the rune and can summon it any time after that. But I'm pretty sure that Champions Ballad DLC is not something you can do until late game. Like you have to be powerful enough to do it. I mean, there's crazy people out there that will do it with 3 hearts, the whole game.
The thing is, because the DLC you get one hit death, so it doesn't matter how powerful you are.
Oh, interesting. Well, it does say that you can get it once you beat the DLC, and the base game does not have to be finished in order to start the DLC. So
okay.
So I guess you could technically.
Because that's the thing is, like, it would have been really helpful for getting around Hyrule.
Oh, wait.
I didn't really use the horses that much.
Oh, wait, no. It says you have to complete the 4 Divine Beast quests before the DLC will pop up. So, there you go. Stupid.
I mean, that's not technically the end of the... Like, with the way that game works, it's difficult to define what the end is, but that's, like, you've definitely been around a lot of Hyrule.
You've been around the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you need some. I mean, I needed some decent health for some of those final bosses. Some of them are pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and honestly, it wasn't even the bosses that were brutal. It was getting to the bosses. We were getting to the temple. That was usually the bigger challenge.
Yeah.
Great game though. So yeah, if you want the DLC, you still have to buy it separate. Although, who hasn't played Breath of the Wild that wanted to at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know. Some more news. Switch to confirmed to support 1440p on games that support it, which is the ultra wide mode. I don't know what the actual ratio is.
No, that's just what is that, like 2560 by 1440 or something?
Yeah, isn't that like the ultra wide mode?
No, it's just it's a higher resolution than it's 2560, but it's still a 16:9 aspect ratio.
Oh, well, that's weird.
So it's kind of like a midpoint between 1080p and 4K.
Huh. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally 720p times 2.
Yeah. Why is that even a thing though?
Because some people want a higher resolution than 1080p, but maybe
don't want 4K.
Can't handle 4K. Yeah. Lots of people use it for gaming. I'd use it if I had a monitor that supported it, but my monitor is 1920 by 1200.
Yeah, I have an ultra wide. I don't know what my res is. It's been so long since I've even bothered checking. It
might be 2560 by 1080 or something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It can go higher than that, but my laptop struggles to do anything higher than that, so that's where I leave it.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose for certain games I could run them at like 1440 and then downscale to my monitor's resolution for some super sampling, but not a lot of games actually support that out of the box.
I do love my ultra wide resolution though, especially for like RTS type games. Heroes of the Storm, loved that extra viewpoint. See people coming and they don't even know they don't know you can see them coming. It's great. The next up, the price for the welcome tour has been confirmed as $9.99. Stupid. Should be a packing.
Yeah, it should be free. Or like also, $1. I can't, like $10.
Should be nothing.
Yeah, it should be nothing.
It should be nothing. No one's going to pay for this.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, people will.
There'll be a few diehards that will pay for it and be like, why the fuck did I pay for this?
Yeah.
I'm really scared for them, to be honest with you. I have this gut feeling that tells me that there's going to be people that buy it and then like rage about not getting a refund for it. It's just... There's been a few people that have played it, like the first impressions stuff that came out from the hands-on demos, and they're like, yeah, it's just a tech demo thing. And it's like, okay. Charge for that, I guess. Some hands-on impressions from Mario Kart World. People like it, but they are commenting about how much slower it feels, and they think it's due to the wider tracks. Because the tracks are so wide, it doesn't feel like you're going as fast. Which makes sense, when you're not close to walls and things aren't zipping by.
Yeah.
Yeah. To accommodate for, 24 racers?
24 racers, yeah.
I mean, that scares me still, honestly. I'm like, it's already chaos getting hit by red shells and lightning bolts and the spike shell and like how are they going to mitigate that so it's not just you getting hit 18,000 times per match? I'm very curious to see that.
I'm not sure.
There is a Mario Kart World Direct coming. Maybe they'll clarify how weapons work or something like that. No.
Yeah.
And then finally, this is the part that I mentioned earlier. CD Projekt Red, which is the Cyberpunk and Witcher people, talked a little bit about Cyberpunk coming to Switch 2 and compared its power to the PS4 Pro, power-wise. So it's it's more expensive than a PS5, but it's as powerful as about a PS4 Pro.
Yeah, but it's portable.
This is true. So yeah. That does worry me for its longevity in the third-party market, just like every other
Yeah, but
Nintendo system.
you're always saying that like so many of these games are still coming out for the PS4. So
Yeah, I hate it. Hate it.
if they're not gonna take advantage of that power, that just means we're closer to the, you know.
Yeah, I'm getting real frustrated with the outlook of console gaming right now.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like
now you know how PC
PC.
gamers felt during the
Yeah,
Xbox 360 PS3 days
yeah. It just
when everything was 30 FPS, even on
yeah.
PC.
It's just frustrating because it's like stop making these iterative consoles and stop doing this cross gen stuff. Like what happened to next gen being, hey, you can only play here. Like what happened to that shit? It's just gone.
Well,
And I don't.
the diminishing returns of the tech, like the tech leaps aren't as huge, and even when they are huge, they don't actually make that big of a difference in terms
That's
of
what I'm
game
saying. Like
design.
it's like I almost feel like the console lifespan should be longer now.
Yeah.
They used to be 6 years. Make them 10 now. You
Yeah.
know, the PS3 gen for me is one of my favorite generations because it lasted so long. My freaking PS3 collections is huge, and I was by the end of it, I was like, yeah, okay, it's time to move on. But that was like a 9 year, almost 10 year generation.
Just about.
You know, and here we are in year 5 of the PS5 generation, and I'm like, are we gonna get PS5 games
Yeah,
at some
there's
point?
not a whole lot.
Yeah, it's really disconcerting for PS6 because I'm like, if we're just gonna do a PS5 cross PS6 generation, then are we still gonna be getting PS4 games in the PS6 gen? Like that's my biggest question right now. Is like, really? Or is that really gonna be a thing? Because if that's the case, there's no reason for me to get a PS6. And I'm starting to convince myself that I probably will wait for the first time with these consoles. I think I probably will get a Switch 2, but it will be, the remodel, the OLED version or whatever comes out in 2 or 3 years.
Or when they price drop it or whatever.
Or do a price drop, yeah. Or maybe I'll just get, the Switch 2 Lite. I'm sure they'll do that too.
Yeah, they might.
Although they've never dropped the price of the Switch. Just want to say that. It's crazy.
Really?
It's gone on sale for like, I think maybe like less than $50 off, but the price has always been the same. That's why they released the Lite, was because they wanted to introduce a cheaper. What do they call that? Not an ARPU.
Stock keeping unit.
Yeah, SKU.
Yep.
So I don't see the Switch 2 coming down in price. If anything, I see it going up, which is, by the way, I totally see the PlayStation 5 going up in price with these tariffs. There's no way. There's no way it doesn't. Same thing with the Xbox Series. They're going to go up $50 again. It's just, we're in such a shitty time for the industry. We really are. Also, I would say that even if the Switch 2 doesn't get a price increase after these tariff announcements, there's no way this console matches the Switch 1 sales. Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. $699?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. But, like, here's the thing. The Switch has now sold at least 150 million units, according to Nintendo's latest numbers. If you sell only half of that, that's still 75 million.
Oh yeah, I think it'll sell that. I think it'll still sell, 75.
Like it's kind of like
mil.
the DS and 3DS. The DS sold over 150 million units, and the 3DS only sold half of that. But the 3DS, that's still 75 million units, and the 3DS was still a tremendous success.
Well, here's the thing, right? If you look at the top 3 selling consoles of all time, PS2, Wii, and Switch.
No, well, consoles, yeah.
Consoles, yeah, not handhelds, consoles specifically. The thing that they have in common is that none of them are more than $399 at launch.
Mm-hmm. Well, but you also have to take into account inflation.
Yeah, but still. People don't think that way. You know what I'm saying?
No.
They look at that and they go, "What's it worth?" And it's not, to me, it's not worth $699. Even if I can, like, at least for me, it might be for you. You're much more of a Switch guy than me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy my Switch. Don't get me wrong, but if I look at my Switch catalog versus my PlayStation catalog, I mean, there's no contest.
Mm-hmm.
I have my Switch as my secondary console. It's there so that I can play Zelda, Mario Kart, a couple of things like Atlas Chain, and some exclusives. Right? It's my Nintendo exclusive machine.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to pay $699 for that? No, I'm not. No. Like when this came out, I think I paid $350 for the Switch one,
something like that.
It was like $350. I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm not paying double.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's just insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the economy shit, and it's not Nintendo's fault, but it's a lot of money. Yeah. If I'm going to spend $699,
and it's not just a case of not everybody's going to want to pay that. It's going to be some people can't afford that.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people can't justify that price.
Let alone the games. $80 for a game? Yeah. That's insane.
It's a lot of money.
And I'm not saying that Nintendo's alone on that, because now that Nintendo has opened up the floodgates.
Well, I mean, games, like, companies have been selling games for $70 and in some cases $80 for a few years now. So
70, yeah. In Canada, they've hit 80 for sure. In Canada, they've hit 93.
Oh yeah, in Canada they've hit 90.
Yeah, which scares the living Jesus out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because this generation, we're gonna get our first $100 games in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, like, I'm gonna buy the Switch 2 for $699, and then I'm gonna spend another $100 to get Zelda and Donkey Kong and Mario, and, like, holy shit. So I'm $1,000 plus in, and I only have 3 or 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't justify that. I'd rather take that $699 plus tax, by the way, and put it into a PC. Yeah. And that's what I might end up doing, honestly. And again, I'm not yelling at Nintendo. I'm not yelling at Sony and Xbox for this pricing structure. The pricing structure is starting to mimic PCs.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it, like these.
But at that point, you might as well go for the hardware that does more.
Yeah, exactly. If you have unlimited income, sure, get all three. But if you are on a budget, you got to go for what's going to give you the most value. And there's absolutely no way for me that the Switch 2 is going to do that for me. It's just
that
not.
Fucking poor guy. You know the guy who did the I have 3 PS3s video?
Yeah.
And when the PS4 came out, he did I have 4 PS4s. What the fuck is he going to do when the PS6 comes out?
I have 6 PS6s.
Like he didn't buy all of those himself. Those were like, one was his and one was a friend's. I think one of them, at least in the PS3 video, was an empty shell from like a store display.
Oh, okay.
That he managed to borrow or something. But like, how
is
the
he
fuck
Canadian?
is he? I don't think so.
Okay.
But how,
imagine just 2 Switch 2s.
Yeah. Like, how the fuck is he gonna do 6 PS6s? Like, does he know enough people who are gonna be willing to spend whatever the PS6 costs?
I mean, given the PS5 Pro is $599, it's not going to be less than that.
Yeah.
Given the Switch 2 is $699 Canadian, I would say the PS6 is going to be equal to that, because it's going to be more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, the gaming industry is starting to. It's got to be careful, man. They're going to price out people. They're going to price out their customers.
The gaming industry is gentrifying itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe the PC master race is right. Maybe that's, maybe consoles are going to just kill themselves because they're just too expensive. And
it's not just that. I think it's at a certain point it makes more economic sense to develop for one platform.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if anyone will just like concede to that. I don't see Nintendo or Sony being like, yeah, we lost. We're just gonna make games now. I can see one of the companies having no choice but to do that. You know, where they're just like, no one's buying this. We're fucked if we don't back out now. Like, and I think it's gonna be Nintendo. I gotta be honest with you. I just don't see them surviving.
Well, over a long enough timeline, it'll be everyone.
Yeah. I think it's inevitable that there will be one console eventually, and it will probably be PC architecture, so that it's just. Well, I mean, it's one platform, really. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it basically already is. The PlayStations and the Xboxes are
basically
effectively
PCs.
Just x86 computers. Yeah.
Yeah, with custom OS on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a weird time. You know, who would have predicted? You know, when we were younger.
The funny thing is that Nintendo will be the most resistant to that, but when that day finally comes, whenever it is, they'll be in the best position because they have by far the best wealth of intellectual property to fall back on.
Yeah.
Who knows? They might even end up making more money. Like, look at what happened with Sega.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's smart. They're starting to make movies, so they're starting to like venture into other mediums to capitalize on their IP, which is super smart.
Yeah,
we'll see what the Zelda movie does, but
oh man,
still worried about that.
But
let's get to letter time because it's related to the Switch 2. Old School Legend returns to the show. Again. He's back again. And he has some things to say and questions to ask. So I'll read out. It's two parts. They all kind of like merge together, so I'll just read it off. A couple of points I was talking to a friend of mine about. Games are about $70 at the moment, and I'm assuming he means American.
Yeah.
The new pricing is only an additional $10. Is this really that big of a deal, or more fake outrage by the internet? Enragement farm, he calls it. He says, look at how Mario Kart 8 has been around, or how long it's been around. What if this is the first and last Mario Kart game to come out for the Switch 2 generation? I guarantee you that it will be. Is an $80 price tag for a game that will still be popular 7 or 8 years from now really that bad? And also, what if the $80 price tag, any and all DLC, comes in as a free update? Well, I would say that you are right in one sense, I think, in my opinion, that you get a decent value out of it in terms of content and replayability with Mario Kart. So it's not that's the problem. However, your second point about if the $80 price tag includes all DLC for free, not a chance in hell.
Yeah, I mean, if it did, it would it would be a much easier pill to swallow.
Yes, I completely agree.
I would still prefer to pay $60 and then choose if I want to pay extra for the DLC, because I might not be interested in the DLC. Like, yeah. I don't have all of the Smash Ultimate characters because I'm not interested in all of them. I bought the ones that I'm interested in, and that's it.
I don't remember what I bought in that. And I didn't buy the booster pack for Mario Kart because I was like, I don't play it that often. If it at all came out at once, I probably would have gotten it, but the fact that they like stretched it out over like 14 months or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's for some people that's a way of maintaining interest, but for some people that doesn't work, and you're just the kind of person that didn't work on.
Yeah, it didn't work for me.
Yeah, like if it was like an automatic guarantee that it covered the price of DLC later on, then it would be fine, but it's not, and it's never going to be.
No, not a chance.
As for the outrage, it's about it's about the prices of the games going up and then still like charging us for DLC. It's about constantly moving the price up, because $60 was the price point for a long time, and then they're like, oh, $70, and that was like that for a few years, and now it's $80. And they're not phasing out paid DLC. They're not phasing out loot boxes. They're not
microtransactions.
All these other avenues of monetization are still there, and they're raising the base price. And like, I can understand the argument that, oh, well, the prices haven't kept up with inflation. $60 today is not $60 20 years ago, and that's fine. But 20 years ago, we didn't have all that aggressive monetization the way that we do today. No. So they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. You know, it is absurd to me that you would pay $80 US for a game, so over $100 Canadian, and then still they would ask, oh, more please for DLC, or more please for loot boxes, or more please to play the game 3 days early. Like, no. No, this is ridiculous. Yeah. Because I can't afford all of that. Like, what's going to happen is they're not going to get that money from me. And as it gets more and more expensive, they're going to get that money from fewer and fewer people. And what it comes down to is, do they ultimately end up making more money? Will enough people still be able to afford it and still be willing to pay it, that it will ultimately net them more money? So far, that's been the case. I don't know how much longer that will be. What about when a price goes up to 90 US? What about when it goes up to 100 US? Like, where's
which it is going to happen, by the way.
Yeah, again, over a long enough timeline, of course it will. Oh, and the question
next year will happen, I guarantee you.
Where is the point? Where is the breaking point where raising the price no longer nets them more money, because now enough people are saying, I'm not going to pay that, or I can't afford to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I don't think I don't think
it's fake outrage.
No.
I think there's probably some that are fake outraging, because that's just the nature of the internet. But
the nature of the internet. There are always going to be people who are raising a stink over anything just for clout and clicks. But I mean, when it comes to the pricing of things, no, I think people are within their right to be displeased with how much money something is going to cost if it's a price jump. Like, even though. Well, I don't know how much, like we said earlier, I don't know what the profit margins on the Switch 2 are going to be, if they're going to be massive or if they're going to be slim. And my sympathy for Nintendo and that pricing kind of hinges on what those profit margins are. Because if they're selling it, like, if it costs them like $350 US to what is the price is $450 for the base. And $500 for the Mario Kart bundle. So if it costs them $400 to make a Switch 2 and they mark it up only by $50, those are pretty slim margins compared to how things are usually marked up. So then I'd be like, okay, well, whatever. If it costs them $250 to make,
then that's a lot of bullshit.
Up by $200, then I'm like, come on, guys.
Which is definitely not true. There's no way they're making.
Well, I don't know. We have no idea.
This thing for $200? I don't think so.
Well, it depends. Like I said, we don't know. Yeah. We don't know. You need to have somebody who is like a materials and like manufacturing expert break down the price of all the components, and also the price of, transporting those components and assembling them and to their ultimate point of sale. That's, beyond the scope of this question. But, whether or not a price is too high or too low, I try not to criticize people too much when they're upset about how expensive things are, because like it is their money, and I can see them being, pretty reasonably upset that things are costing more and more, and what the value proposition of that is versus the increased cost is just not adding up the way it used to.
Plus, a lot of people always looked to Nintendo as the cheaper alternative to PlayStation and Xbox, and now
that's not really the case.
It's the exact opposite. It's more expensive than a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox
and
Series.
Especially relative to what its capabilities are.
Yeah, and it's not even as powerful. So it's like you're basically paying $50 more.
You're paying a premium for a portable PS4.
For a portable PS4 Pro.
I mean, to be fair, the fact that they've gotten it, at least in CD Projekt Red's words, somewhere in the equivalent of a PS4 level of power, to get that in a portable package is impressive.
Well, I forgot to mention something about about the Cyberpunk port. According to some hands-on impressions, it was running at about 35 to 40 frames per second.
Yeah.
So,
but that is from what I remember, that's better than it ran on the PS4. So
yeah, it didn't run at all on the PS4.
So
I think they gave up on that. Yeah.
To be fair, that is a better experience than the PS4.
But it's like, who wants to play the inferior? It's once again, it's the Nintendo way of doing things. Do you want to play the inferior version?
It's Cyberpunk on the go.
Sure, but I mean, you could do that on a Steam Deck and probably have a better experience.
Are you going to be getting 60 FPS on a Steam Deck?
I mean, you have all those sliders. You could just lower it to,
Is cranking it down going to be enough to get you 60? Not necessarily.
I don't know. I'd have to look into it.
But yeah, I don't know either because I don't have a Steam Deck in Cyberpunk. So
I really want one. But
yeah, but
plus Steam Deck 2, I'm sure, is coming out within the next couple of years.
Yeah, there's no way that they're not going to make a follow up to that with how successful it's been.
No.
So yeah, to answer the question, I don't think it's manufactured outrage. I think a lot of people legitimately have very real concerns about the price of the Switch, in the immediate now, the here and now, and also just the general increasing of things in price, especially how it's been over the last few years and how it's going to continue to go in the future. Yeah, I think people are totally well within their rights to be upset about that. Sure. I think that some of the rhetoric is a little overblown, but honestly, like, it's, you need money to live, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now people who want a game, their only option is older systems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Switch 1 and PS4.
Which would be fine if they kept those digital storefronts open in perpetuity. But there's now that we have a date for the Switch 2, it means that there is an expiry date on the Switch 1 digital store potentially. We don't know.
They haven't. Yeah, we don't know. They may have integrated that into like a cross.
They might have
store, which I think is the smart decision. That's
I think
exactly
it would
what
be
they should
smart
do.
Decision.
Yeah.
But we don't know fact.
No, they would be the first ones to do that if that ends up being the case. So it seems unlikely for a Nintendo move as a Nintendo move, but I think it would be super smart of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
But this is all part of my point. There's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And that
I do wish they would have. They need to be more transparent about.
That makes
how
people
long your product's going to last.
Very anxious about how they spend their money.
Yep. Yeah, and I will not be buying a Switch 2 at launch. There's absolutely no way. Not that I'll be able to get one anyway, because these things are going to sell out so fast.
Yeah.
Although they've said that they have these things stocked to the absolute wazoo. But I don't know if that's going to stop scalpers, though.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm amazed that I was able to get a Switch around launch. I think I got mine like a week later or something.
Yeah, I got mine in the first week too. I remember bringing it to work, and people were like, "What's that?" They're like, "Oh, is that new Nintendo?"
Mm.
Yeah. Although here's the other thing that someone mentioned to me that I didn't even think about, and that's the Switch is very much a kid's console. The Switch 1, right?
Is it though?
Well, price wise, I mean, you're probably much more comfortable giving your 6 or 7 year old a Switch 1 to play with than a PlayStation 5 controller that costs $100, or
but if they trash
a VR
the Switch,
headset,
that's like a $300 system, and it's the whole system. Mm-hmm. If they trash the PS5 controller, it's $100 and it's just the controller.
Fair, but I mean, parents give their kids tablets all the fucking time.
Sure, but
they're a lot more.
A lot of the times, those tablets have like protective cases. Let me put it to you like this: I don't let my niece play my Switch without me being present. In fact, I've had to remind her occasionally that if she wants to play with my Switch, she should ask me, and I will get it. She does not. It's not okay for her to get it out of my bag without asking.
Don't get me wrong, man. When it comes to parenting, that's parenting. That's what that is, right?
Yeah.
But as we've seen from life in general, parenting has gone downhill significantly.
Well, no, I don't know if it's gone downhill.
We are definitely not going to agree on that.
Well, you're moving into back in my day territory, and that's
not necessarily. I just see so many kids misbehaving and just rules not be applying, and more entitled people than ever before, and
yeah. But think about how it was when we were kids. Think about how many little shits there were that we knew.
I mean, I suppose so. I don't know if it would be as many as what I've seen lately.
The reason, so it seems worse because it's more visible, because you can see that shit on YouTube and social media. Before it was just what we saw in the schoolyard. Now
I see it at the grocery store all the time.
Well, yeah, but like that's the kind of shit that we would have seen at the grocery store when we were kids as well.
I don't know. I don't think we're going to agree on that one. I think parenting right now is absolutely terrible, and I would not give my 6 or 7-year-old a $699 console to play with. There's no way.
No.
So would other parents? I don't think so. Even if the parenting is terrible these days, I just don't see even the worst parent in the world going, yeah, here, Bobby, here's a $699 Switch for you to play with, and especially with the Joy-Cons, like. The Wii made sense. What was the Wii? $299?
Something like that.
It's like less than half of this thing. I don't know. Plus, you know what the other problem is, and this is just the nature of the console business. When you have parents out there that don't follow the gaming industry, and their kids say, "Hey, I want that." 90% of parents who are not informed about the industry will look at the Switch 2 and go, "You already have a Switch. Fuck off." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's another thing that I
have a problem with that.
I don't agree with, though, because you have to remember, a lot of those parents are our age and probably grew up much more familiar with video games than our parents did.
Until they find out that it's $699.
Well, yeah.
Then they will go, absolutely not. I mean, look, there will be people who will.
I'm just talking about the don't you already have a Switch, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. But, my N64 didn't cost $750,000. I don't know. I see problems in the Switch 2's future, but we'll see. We'll see how it all comes out in the wash, as they say. And it'll be interesting to see whenever we get an update from Nintendo about pre-orders, because they were supposed to go live tomorrow. I think the 12th, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was the 12th. Yeah. So I don't know whether. I mean, we're not going to hear from them tomorrow. There's no way. I mean, it's a Saturday. So
unlikely.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for them to pipe up about it. All right, let's get into the next piece of news, which is the Diablo 4 roadmap.
Oh, before we move on from that, thank you, Old School Legend, for writing in once again.
Yes, thank you, good sir. I talk to him not every day, but he's in the Discord server.
Cool.
So, yeah. So Diablo 4 has Blizzard's announced the 2025 roadmap for.
I don't fucking care about
the season. Well, there's a reason I bring it up.
It's news. We got to talk about it.
It's not just that they've announced the roadmap. It's the backlash that they're getting.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't just talk about the roadmap. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't just talk about the roadmap. Couldn't care less about Diablo 4 at this point. So Diablo 4 this week got its first roadmap of content, providing an overview of what's coming to the action role-playing game in 2025, with a tease of what's coming in 2026. You can see it in the right-hand side there. Half the banner is
burned away.
Burned away because they don't want to spoil what's coming. But the reaction has not gone over very well. In the wake of the roadmap's release, Diablo 4's community has expressed concern about 2025 and questioned whether there's enough new content to keep them coming back. Quote, "Oh boy, can't wait for new Helltide color and temporary powers. It's going to be so dope." So I'm going to read a few more things about here. But
here's a quick question: is this a free update or is this paid?
Yes, this is free except for the new expansions are the only thing that cost money.
Oh well, then who the fuck cares? It's free.
Well, there's a couple of problems. Number one is that so everything you see in red on the roadmap is temporary. So this stuff comes in, lasts for the time frame that is displayed at the top, and then it just disappears.
Oh, that's bullshit. I hate
it just
when
goes
they do
away.
that shit.
Yeah. And then down here is what the actual permanent editions are. So it's not like it's not all permanent, not all.
God, can you imagine if
temporary.
keyboard and mouse support was temporary?
Yeah, that'd be a problem. But people are a little upset over the fact. So these powers that they're talking about at the top here. I played a little bit of the first few seasons before I got bored and threw the game in the uninstall pile. But the powers are basically, they just give you like essentially buffs, or like temporary spells, or in one of the seasons they gave you a mercenary, because mercenaries aren't even in the game, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. So they gave you like a temporary mercenary or a temporary pet dog or stuff like that. But then they go away.
Hey guys, we're Torchlight.
Yeah. It's frustrating. And then the blue stuff. I mean, don't even get me started on the new IP collabs. Like I don't need Diablo cross Tekken in my fucking
I can't wait to play the fucking Genshin Impact crossover.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
that. Okay, but that would actually be kind of fun.
Okay, but
big
for
anime
real, though,
characters in Diablo, and then like hyper realistic gore in Genshin Impact.
I just
that would at least be funny.
Make a Genshin Impact Diablo game, then. Don't fucking do this crossover bullshit. It was cool for a few years where it was like, oh, that's a cool crossover. But now it's like every online game has these stupid crossovers. Like Call of Duty has WWE crossovers.
Yeah.
The fuck are they doing? It's just so annoying. Anyway, the sentiment is shared by a number of hardcore Diablo 4 players who are hoping for more excitement around upcoming content. Quote, a new season and another ARPG is like, let's put in a little housing system where you build up a home base with vendors that give you more gear. Or let's put in a whole shipping system where traders from other lands bring materials that let you upgrade your items in ways that change your class mechanic entirely. A new season in D4 is, what color were we making Hell Tides this time? And what powers and reputation skins are we whipping up this time? I'm not a Diablo 4 hater. I love the game, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of meat on the bone here, which is a little disappointing. And more is doing a lot of heavy lifting. The debate online got to the point where Diablo community manager, whatever their fucking stupid name is, that they don't go by their actual names, they go by like their handles, stepped into the main thread on the Diablo 4 subreddit to address the complaints. Quote, we added fewer details to the later parts of the roadmap to accommodate for things the team is still working on. This isn't all that's coming in 2025. Well then why did you why why even post it then? Part of the issue is Blizzard's one-shot approach to seasonal content for Diablo 4. Some like that the experience resets somewhat each season, whereas others have complained that it makes engaging too deeply in each season pointless. Where some say if all seasonal content remained constant, Diablo 4 would become overwhelming. Others say that they're thinking of ditching the game and not coming back until 2026 when more meaningful content comes out, i.e. the next expansion. So, I mean, it goes on from here, but... I mean, this is just another symptom for me of these games that don't need to be online seasonal experiences.
Yeah.
You know, like, here's an idea. Fuck seasons and put all of your effort into expansions.
Yeah.
I would gladly pay you, $40 for a yearly expansion, or I don't give a shit about the seasonal content, especially given that every season you have to start over. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah, that's the same in Diablo 3.
Yeah, like that's only fun so many times before you're like, okay, I get it. Like, why can't I just keep my character and just...
Yeah, oh man, I have to build up another sorceress. Oh. Yeah. And it's not like you're going to make a different build, because Diablo 4 works the same way as Diablo 3, right? Where you just get all the skills and you apply them as you see fit.
No, it's got a talent tree system where you have to put points into skills.
Okay.
So if you don't put the skills into points, then you don't get them. So there's lots of little different builds that you can do.
Okay, so well that might be interesting. But I always disliked how you couldn't just like carry over a character from Diablo 3 for the seasonal challenges.
The problem with Diablo 4 is not the leveling system or the characters or any of that. It's the world.
Oh yeah.
In Diablo 1, 2, well, technically in Diablo 2 and 3, it had the tried and true formula of go from this town and this area to this town, and now there's a whole new area. So you start in like a foresty type area, swampy type area, and now you're in a desert, and now you're in a castle keep, and now you're in the snow mountains, and etc. So on and so forth. Diablo 4 is one giant open map, and the environments don't change enough. It's very similar, the whole map. Yes, there's a swamp area. Yeah, there's a beach area. Yeah, there's just a shitload of field and kind of just barren, desolate areas that don't feel different enough from each other, basically. Whereas in Diablo 3, every area feels distinct.
Yeah. It's the same problem Halo Infinite had.
Yeah. Very yeah. Maybe not to that extent. Halo Infinite was pretty bad for that, but
yeah.
I don't know. Plus, and then there's the other thing is that if you don't go along with the story, which you're not going to do after the first time you play it, you're going to play the open world aspect of the game. Yeah. You're just going to skip the story, which you can do, just like in Diablo 3. They call it adventure mode.
Yeah. Oh, 3. God, adventure mode was great.
Yeah, it was great. And they do that in this game, too, so you don't have to play the story over and over. But the problem is in adventure mode, it's like, well, where do I go? Where does it make sense to go?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, right over here we got some seasonal content over here. We got a temporary thing going over here, so I guess we'll go. It just doesn't feel like it's not organic enough. It doesn't feel, I don't know. It's just not fun to me. I just find it very daunting and plotting and not fun. I wish you could play it so that you could understand what I mean by it, but it is fun the first time you play it, but the replayability like saying, of it is
I wish you would like whip yourself with a cat of nine tails a few times so you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I actually felt that. I was like, is he wishing Diablo 4 on me? Fuck this guy.
It's not that bad. Like it's just it doesn't reach Diablo 3's like near perfection in my opinion. Like
Diablo 2 and 3 are pretty incredible games.
I'm replaying 3 sort of in my not want to dive into anything too deeply game time.
Yeah.
Where I have like a TV show on on this TV. I have a TV show in here and I play Diablo in here. I'm just like, oh man, this game was so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So maybe just stop with the Diablo 4 expansions and just make Diablo 5 and make it like the other game. That's what I would prefer at this point. I just don't see myself going back. Okay. Let's move on to Razer news, which is not something we've ever really talked about or covered here. However, as I mentioned, there was 2 reasons that we'll be talking about the tariffs. This is the other one. So the import tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump are once again impacting U.S. gamers, this time affecting Razer's Blade 16 gaming laptop. Tariffs are essentially taxes placed on... We know what tariffs are. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on from that. Some products are now being temporarily pulled from sale, as spotted by The Verge. Although the Blade 16 had initially been listed for sale to the U.S. as recently as April 1st, the option to order the laptop has now disappeared from the website entirely. Whereas European gamers can order the all-new gaming laptop right now. Well, if it's in stock. It's not in stock in the UK. The US site only provides prospective buyers to hit the Notify Me button to get updates, and there aren't any prices listed whatsoever. The Buy Now page takes you to a 404 error. It's not just Razers that quietly is removing sale information until the markets settle down either. The tariffs against China and Taiwan, where many PC components are made, will also affect US players as firms like Micron, a memory manufacturer, warned of surcharges. PC company Framework has temporarily paused some US sales completely.
Oh, that's a shame.
I
don't know. Are you familiar with the Framework laptop?
No.
Oh, it's basically, hey, here's a laptop that we have a bunch of USB-C ports in it, and we sell you USB-C attachments that slot in and are flush with the frame of the laptop.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and you can have an audio jack. You can have an SD card port. Like basically, you choose what expansion
how to build
ports.
It. Yeah,
what expansion ports your laptop has. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Fuck's sake, I've been waiting forever for somebody to do that. And admittedly, it was going to take until somebody came up with like a USB-C thing. Like that, until USB-C came around, there wasn't really anything that was open. It would have had to have been something proprietary. And this is like, no, it's USB-C. Anybody can make any kind of plugin for it.
I'm a little surprised that they're not bigger, to be honest with you. Like not like as mainstream.
Yeah, well, they're not. They're still a fairly recent company. They've only existed for a few years. But also, like, they offer you. There's just so much support for the user to customize their laptop, and not just at like the point of sale. Like you can physically modify your laptop with a number of their modules, which are all documented. They have QR codes on them that will take you to, so you can just point your phone at it and it will take you to the product page on your phone, so you can see, oh, what's this part? How do I install it? Like, it's, and they'll even say, hey, if you want to buy a new laptop, but you don't want to just throw the old one away, here's how you can reuse the motherboard for like maybe a media center PC or whatever. Like they are kind of all in on the DIY approach to computing, but in a way where they take most of the work off of you, not away from you. Like you will still do the work. You still have the freedom to do that work, but they provide people who, maybe don't know how to repurpose a motherboard for an impromptu media center. Here's some helpful information on how to do that. Like, it's a really great business idea. And I've maintained that if I buy a laptop in the future, I haven't owned a laptop in a while, but if I do, my next one will be a framework, because that is the kind of thing this is part of the reason why I'm not a laptop guy, is because of the whole like proprietary nature of them, and there's no like path forward for upgradability.
Yeah.
But like here, there's a degree of customization that you don't really get anywhere else. So if I were to buy another one, it would be from them.
Yeah,
and so it really sucks that they're affected by this.
And they're making desktops now too.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks pretty funky too. It's like the face of it is like a bunch of squares.
Oh,
it's pretty nifty. Yeah, it's not out yet. It's in pre-order right now, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, pre-order. Just have a
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Prices range from about 1,500 to 3,000 though. So they're not cheap.
Yeah, that is the thing. They're not cheap because they are a smaller business. They're not like a massive company like Dell or Toshiba or Lenovo or whoever. Yeah. So they do kind of have to be, and it does cost money to make all of these components separate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And to do
it
this
just
stuff,
future proofs yourself by investing in it. That's all.
Yeah, like,
as long as they stay around anyway.
Yeah, it is the kind of thing that I look at and I say that will cost more, yes, but there will be a tangible benefit to that increased cost.
Yep.
In the freedom that I have to customize my computer. And the thing is, like you mentioned, as long as they stay in business, well, that is true to a certain extent. But because all of their accessories run off of USB-C, anybody could make like extension ports for it.
Yep.
And they're fine with that. They've gone on the record saying that we want other people to make stuff for this because it makes
so useful.
Our computer a better value proposition if lots of people support it.
Yep.
So they're
Absolutely.
totally fine with third parties doing accessories.
Yeah, well, they won't be doing much right now, apparently.
Yeah.
Since they've shut down. Temporarily, anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trump. Asshole mio. All right, next piece of news. Baldur's Gate 3. It's in the news for the final time. Its final patch. It finally has a release date. April 15th. Not far away at all. This Tuesday.
Is it finally getting cross-platform support?
I think it does already.
Oh, then why the fuck aren't we playing it?
I don't know. Because we've been playing other shit, I guess. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came out with the last patch. I could be wrong. Patch notes. Here we go. Let's look at patch notes. The one thing I know is that they've added 12 new classes to the game.
Jesus Christ.
Well, subclasses, but yeah. Which is huge. And this is the last update. This is the last major update. It'll still, I'm sure, get bug fixes and stuff.
Yeah.
This is the last content update. It did say that it's well, let me just read it. They're still going to continue to support Baldur's Gate 3 modders with big updates still to come, including more functionality to let you tell your own stories. So there's still going to be tons of official mod support. But as far as like official content, this is it. Let's see. The addition of patch 8 will include full cross-platform progression. So once the update is live, you'll be able to invite your friends to join your cross-play lobby directly, regardless of platform, and find available multiplayer lobbies with friends on other systems using the Larian network, which probably means we're going to have a Larian account, is my guess.
Yeah.
To do it. But yeah. All new subclass. I've been waiting for them to finally finish the game.
Yeah.
So I can replay it again. Because I played it on launch, and they've done like 4 or 5 content patches since then. So I'm like, I might join that game and be like, what the fuck? There's so much here. Plus, I think they added mod support on the console, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of cool stuff that could come. Although if we play together, I would probably avoid mods because it could fuck up a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't want to do my first playthrough of anything with mods anyway.
Yeah. Well, there might be some cool mods in there that don't really affect gameplay, but like do make quality of life improvements. Because that game has a lot of menus, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's great, though. Great game. All right. Next piece of news. The Alters has a release date, finally. And it's a little further out than I thought it would be, but it's still coming. Alters will be available on Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and PC June 13th, 2025. So not too much longer. Again, I played the demo for this, and it's different than I thought. It was it needed some polishing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully that's what this extra time gave it, and it'll feel a little bit more AAA.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking forward to it. I like the games these guys make, so looking forward to it. Next up, Xbox has announced their... Can we just call it the E3 showcase?
No.
Well, I'm going to anyway. Because that's exactly what it is. It's it's Sunday, June 8th, which is E3 time. I think they call it like the summer of gaming thing where like Xbox shows up, EA shows up, PlayStation usually shows up a week or two around that time. Mm-hmm. Nintendo usually shows up a week or two around that time with a Direct. Like it's fucking E3.
Oh wow, they're just calling this the Outer Worlds 2 Direct. They're just going straight for that branding.
Yeah, weird. Well, I think they did that already with the last one they did, which was they did the Starfield Direct. And then there was some other Direct that they did last year. What was Xbox's big games? They did Starfield, and then last year they did...
Whatever. Who cares? We just move on.
I'm trying to remember what games they make. That's pretty bad that I don't remember what games they make. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, they've announced their Xbox Game Showcase Sunday, June 8th. And immediately following it will be a deep dive Outer Worlds 2 Direct. I don't think that game has a release date yet, so I would expect a release date for Outer Worlds 2 at that Direct.
I mean, the previous one only came out, 2.5 years ago?
Outer Worlds release date. Oh, no, 2019.
Was it really that long ago? Jesus.
Yeah, it's been a while. They just released Avowed. But yeah, Outer Worlds 1, 6 years. 6 years ago. Yeah, and I think, if I'm correct, I think Outer Worlds 2 is exclusive to current gen. Let me double check. Yes. Yeah, Outer Worlds 2 is current gen exclusive. So PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And it runs on Unreal Engine 5. So does South of Midnight, by the way.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Which I'll talk about in a bit. So, yeah, look forward to that. We'll obviously do a topic of the week for that bad boy. And I'll probably do a live stream reacts to that, just like I usually do with these bigger showcases and directs and stuff. And finally, PlayStation Plus game catalog updates for April 2025 have been confirmed. So these games will go live this Tuesday, the 15th of April, for extra and premium catalog members. Hogwarts Legacy, both the PS4 and PS5 version. That's pretty crazy to me that game's coming to PS Plus. My assumption is that the tail of sales for that game have finally died down. So they're like, hey, let's get a big old fat paycheck from PlayStation. Yeah, put that bad boy on PS Plus, which is a good idea. Blueprints, the game I talked about earlier that's getting rave reviews, exclusive to PS5 and Xbox Series and PC. It is already out as of this recording, so it came out early. Lost Records Bloom and Rage Tape 2, which is the second episode of the Lost Records Bloom and Rage series. Also comes out, PS5 exclusive. EA Sports PGA Tour, exclusive to PS5. That, I believe, is already on Game Pass. So it's a little weird that it's coming to PS Plus this late.
I mean, maybe they had a deal to put it on Game Pass first.
It's possible. It's an old game, though. It's weird. I think it was 2023.
Who knows?
I wish I knew what the behind the scenes stuff for these games that show up on both Game Pass and PS Plus just at different times. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1 for PS4, which I think most people consider the last good Battlefield game, if I remember correctly, which also launched poorly. I remember the videos of that game online. Oh my god, glitch fest, just brutal. Also coming is Plate Up. I don't know what that is. What is Plate Up?
Oh, that's like that's one of those like diner.
Games, Overcooked.
Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh wow! It looks like holy shit. That is an Overcooked ripoff. How did they not get sued? Holy shit! That's crazy. And then specifically for premium members comes to PS2 classics. At least I think they're PS2. Alone in the Dark 2. Must be a PS2 game or PS1 game, maybe. I think it's PS1. And War of the Monsters, which I'm pretty sure was PS2. That was the King Kong, Godzilla fighting game. No, that was Destroy All Monsters Melee. What is
War of the Monsters? Isn't that more recent than that? That's like isn't that a Way Forward game?
It says 2003 from Incognito.
Man, I'm thinking of something else then.
It does not look anywhere near as good as Destroy All Monsters Melee. I can tell you that much. But hey, it's free. So obviously, highly recommend for anyone who hasn't played Hogwarts Legacy, even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, play that game, because I'm not a Harry Potter fan, and I love that game. It's great. It's fantastic. And obviously Blueprints sounds like it's going to be amazing. So can't wait for that either. All right. So as we mentioned earlier in the show, we are saving our What You Playing for topic of the week. So that's what we're going to get into next. I'm going to go first.
Because we both have a lot to talk about, so we figured we'd move it here.
Yeah, so we're going to move into What You Playing as topic of the week, and I'm going to go first, starting with Robocop, Rogue City.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, it came out on PlayStation Plus for free this month. I think last week or something like that. So I thought I would give it a go. You know, it's free. Why the heck not? And I've played. So these are just first impressions. I haven't played the whole game or even half the game. I've probably played about an hour. And it certainly makes you feel like Robocop. I could give it that.
Like the getting shot in the kneecap part, or the dead or alive you're coming with me part?
Yeah, the dead or alive you're coming with me part, because it is not a Call of Duty type game. You're walking slow.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit about cover.
No.
You walk
Never.
right through, and when you aim with the crosshair, there isn't actually a crosshair, but when you aim with the crosshair, like when you pull the trigger, it basically, instead of aiming down the iron sights, it turns the screen like a green scan lines kind of look to it.
Yeah.
And then it highlights the enemies.
Yeah.
And it does a scanning thing. It goes and then highlights them. Just like from the movie, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. I haven't actually seen Robocop. So
you should. It's great.
I think I've definitely seen parts of these movies, but I've never watched it from start to finish.
Robocop 1 is great. Robocop 2 is pretty good. I was advised against watching Robocop 3.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
I was told it was not worth my time.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. But yeah, it's not a cover shooter. It's a walkthrough. Beat the absolute hell out of people. It's very gory. When you're shooting people, the blood splatters everywhere.
Yeah.
If you get up close to them, you can punch them, and it just feels great to punch people.
Can you shoot people in the dick? Because
I haven't tried.
That's a thing that happens in the movie.
I have not tried, but I will do so next time I play it. I've been aiming for the head the whole time because it's just natural for a shooter. But you can punch them if you get close enough. It looks like there's powers that you can unlock as the further you get in the game. I don't know what those powers are, but there's when you look at the control layout in the options, it tells you all these buttons, and you're they don't do anything when you try to use them. So I'm assuming that they unlock as you get further in the game.
Okay.
If you get close enough, you can also grab a guy by the neck and then toss him at other enemies, which is great. You can pick up virtually any, not virtually any object, but most objects you can pick up and chuck at the enemies as well. It's just very violent and very just, I will kill you, scum, very cheesy acting. I don't know. It's fun. It's definitely not a game I would ever buy. Because it's this is one of those games where I'm if this was 20 years ago, this would be the perfect rental. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is going to be a long game by any stretch. It's probably a standard 6 to 8 hour.
I don't think it is very long.
No. So I intend to continue playing it. There's just so much to play right now that I'm trying to get through. I just want to beat a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's been so long since I've beaten a game because I keep jumping around from game to game because I'm just there's so much to play. So, I do hope to beat this one before it gets sucked away by something else. Mm-hmm. I don't know how likely that is, though, with everything coming out right now. But I'm enjoying it, and it's definitely more polished than I thought it was going to be and more fun than I thought it was going to be. So,
cool.
I'm enjoying it.
I've heard that there's a Terminator game as well. Resistance, I think it's called, Terminator Resistance, that is very similar in that it's a big license, but not really a huge, AAA $10 billion advertising budget kind of game. But it's just like a solid first-person shooter that's like 6 to 8 hours long.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. The double A space is making a comeback, and I'm totally cool with that. As long as they don't charge $80. So yeah, enjoying that. But the other game I'm playing is probably the one I'm more excited to talk about.
Yeah,
that's South of Midnight. So I am 2.5 chapters in, and I have quite a bit to say about this one. So, number one, I could be wrong, and it could open up at some point, but so far it is a linear game, and I did not anticipate that. I thought this was going to be an open world type of.
Did not expect it to be an open world game. I wasn't sure if it was or not, but I never got the impression that it was definitely going to be.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe not open world's maybe not the best way of saying it. Open zone, like similar to like Tomb Raider. You haven't played the modern,
but like
Tomb Raider
the God of War, like Ragnarok era.
Yeah, kind of similar to that kind of style where there's open areas that you can explore. It does have that explorability, but it's very limited. So I'll put it to you this way. And this is going to come off as an insult to the game.
Okay.
But I mean it in a positive way. It is a very good PS2 game.
Okay.
And by that I mean like when you played like Jak and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank, you can explore around and there's a lot of jumping around and there's some combat and but there's not much more to it than that from a gameplay standpoint, which is pretty much what the reviews were saying when we were talking about it, where it's like this is a fairly standard third-person action adventure game that is heavily lifted up by its artistic design and storytelling. And so far, I completely agree with that. This game is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm not 100% sold on the stop motion frame rate thing with the characters. As we've talked about before, the world is fully animated and fully 60 frames per second. But the characters are, I don't know, like 20 frames per second, 25.
Well, it's not a consistent frame rate. It's more of a selective frame rate, similar to what you would get with traditional animation, where they like animate on 2s for stuff that's not important, and then for stuff that is important, they animate on 1s, so every frame is different, or every 2 frames are different, or sometimes even every 3 frames are different. So it's got a very selective.
It's similar to the Spider-Verse movies.
Yeah.
And how it's animated, which I'm okay with. Because the art style is so gorgeous, though, I'm not entirely certain it was needed to set it apart.
Yeah.
Because also,
it's like the screenshot you've put up here is gorgeous. Like it looks amazing.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And I don't feel like you would need anything to set apart other than just the strength of your art, because it looks good here and it's looked good in all the footage I've seen.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's that the frame rate weirdness is bad. It's not bad. It's just I don't think it's super additive as much as I was anticipating it being.
Yeah, and we've said this before, they definitely improved it based on their first and second showings of the game. Like when they first showed it, it looked bad. But when they showed it off again a little bit later, it was like, oh no, this looks a lot better now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. One thing that you don't really get from the trailers, or what we've seen of the game thus far, and it could just be that because I was on media blackout, I didn't know this. But the game starts with you like, I'm trying not to be too spoilery here. Do you intend on playing it? There's nothing really spoilery here because I'm so not far into it.
If it's not really spoilery, then that's fine. I might play it at some point.
Okay.
It's not in the immediate list to play. That list is full.
Yeah. What do you know about the story?
Basically nothing.
Basically nothing.
If it wasn't in one of those trailers, then I don't know.
Okay. I'll try and beat around the bush a little bit here.
Okay.
So from what we've seen, she's basically in a world, and she's talking to fish, big fish, and fighting like weird wood-like creatures, in the trailers.
Typical Saturday.
Typical Saturday. And it's got like a very like Southern Louisiana type vibe.
Yes.
To the game. And so I had no idea what the story was going into it either, and it's man. So nothing I'm going to say is going to spoil anything as far as like shock value or like, oh my god, this changes everything. It's just the story. So I'll just say it. It's not that big a deal. So the basic idea of the story is at the beginning of the game, you're like, she doesn't say specific. Oh no, she does say specifically where she is. This game has that lore feature that Final Fantasy 16 has, where at any point you can press a button and the lore thing pops up. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like a built-in Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's so cool, and it pops up whenever something new gets added to it.
Yeah, when it's relevant. Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah,
it's nice. That. It's good for keeping shit straight when it gets complex.
Love it. And it also fills you in on details that your character would know, but you don't. But but without having to have some like stupid exposition dialogue that fills things in.
Yeah, I will talk about that with Disco Elysium. That game has a solution to that as well.
Oh, okay. Not a good one though, by the sounds of it.
We'll see. We'll see.
So it's got that, but yeah, the beginning of the game has you in, I don't remember the town name, but I'm assuming it's in Louisiana. I don't know if it's a real town or not. But you're her, and you're packing up with your mom because a hurricane's coming, which,
yeah,
that's kind of a regular thing down there. And yeah, you're packing up. The hurricane is arriving as you're packing up. You go to check on your neighbors to make sure that they're okay. One of them's like a drunk hillbilly. That's like, yeah, I've survived all these other storms. I'm going to stay here. Yeah. I'm going to ride this one out too. Oh, that kind of craziness. Some other, you visit your neighbors and all that kind of stuff. But what ends up happening, without spoiling anything, and I don't know the answers to the questions, so that there's that as well, is that I think what happens is this is sort of like an Alice in Wonderland type story.
I was getting that kind of vibe from it.
Yeah. It kind of feels like either A, she's dead, or like she died in the hurricane, or B, she fell into like unconsciousness.
Yeah.
From something that happened in the hurricane. I don't really know for sure because it's but the early vibes of the game story wise are all about like sort of like self-reflection and redemption, and it's got a kind of a deeper storytelling aspect to it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I had no idea you talk to other humans in this game, and you do. Yeah, I was like, oh, there's other people. I thought you were just going to be
that
talking to big fish.
Showed a little bit of that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not see that. So yeah, I was surprised, pleasantly surprised at that, because there's a significant amount of dialogue at the beginning of the game. And honestly, in general, there's quite a bit of dialogue, and I'm enjoying it. The art style, I continuously gawk at, just continuously blown away by the art style. It's absolutely gorgeous. I kind of wish it was a movie at sometimes, because it's just so pretty to look at. Gameplay. It's your pretty standard third-person action, jump, double jump, glide, hop up on cliff edges, side, doing the old.
Yeah. It's very much in line with what I expected.
Yeah, pretty standard fare stuff. It's linear, but as you go, you'll see, like, because there's an upgrade system to upgrading your combat abilities. So you'll see as you go along the main path, off on the sides, there'll be like, I can't remember what they call it. They have a name for these little orbs that you have to pick up, and you collect those and you get up. You spend that currency on upgrades. There's all kinds of lore that is tied to what those things are. So it's not just like, hey, go pick up that orb and you can upgrade. It's like there's actual like story explanations for it that are actually kind of interesting.
Okay.
Again, I'm still getting into it, so I don't fully grasp the whole concept as of yet.
I'm sure it's interesting. It probably like kind of comes together later on in the game, and you realize it's like, oh, it's the spirit of my ancestors, or the spirits of the land, or it's something along those lines. It'll tie back somehow.
Yeah. So there's that. It's not super complicated. It's not super difficult. The combat is fairly basic. You have your typical combo, attack. You have to dodge out of the way of enemies, and if you do it at the perfect time, the enemy gets damaged. If you do a perfect, not a parry, you can't parry, a perfect dodge. And then you have spells that you learn. I don't know if you gain more spells in the game, but you have basically a force push, a force pull, and I can't remember what they call it, but it basically weakens them and stuns them. So they take like double damage and they're stunned for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. It's all fairly basic. The cool thing though is that when you have killed an enemy, you then have to like weave it. And you've seen that in the trailer where she's like doing a little air magician thing, and that kills the enemy and also refills your life bar a little bit, which is pretty cool. And then the other thing is it's got the Okami. You never played Okami, did you?
I've played Okami. I haven't played a lot of it.
Okay, no, that's fine. But you know the part in Okami where you like heal the area.
Yeah, you like paint in the thing that's missing. Like, there needs to be a bridge there. No,
like there's like you get to points where there's like a corruption, and you when you heal it, the area.
I never got that far. No.
Oh wow, that's not very far at all. Okay,
no,
that's like 2 hours in.
I have not. I played like every time I've tried to play Okami, and I'm gonna give it a third try at some point, but it hasn't happened yet.
It's a very long game.
My thing with games is that I will try them 3 times, and if I bounce off 3 times, then it's not.
I should have that. My Starfield would have been gone a long time ago.
But the thing is, I've already done it twice with Okami, and I want to wait until I am in the mood for it, because people keep telling me it's great, but if I bounce off it a third time, I'm just going to lose all interest in it. So
you should wait until Okami 2 gets a release date.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Play them back to back, kind of a thing.
But like, I go through that agonizingly long, unskippable all text intro. And then,
it's like absolutely terrible.
All will I have to play the game is gone.
I know.
What I need to do is I need to go through that, get to a save point, and then come back like a week later when I'm no longer annoyed by it.
Yeah, then you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Once you get past that, then it's it's great.
Yeah, I've only played through like the basic tutorial stuff and the town, and then I'm like, that intro just killed my enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, that is one of the worst like introductions to a video game maybe of all time. Like it might be tied with Twilight Princess.
Oh man.
Like Twilight Princess was just terrible too. It's just like, let me get to the game.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
Well, Twilight Princess at least lets you get to the game. It's just, it gives you the game in little bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
But it doesn't lock you in, because you can't even like hammer the button to skip through the text. The text has to reach its conclusion, and then you can press the button.
Well, the HD version, I think, fixed that.
Oh, maybe I should play that then.
Yeah, I think it fixed that problem.
Because I've only ever played the PS2 original.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, play the HD remaster. Yeah. So okay, so you haven't seen that. Okay, so we can actually use this screenshot as a great example. So
is this in the screenshot the corruption is fixed healed or something?
Yeah. So you can see in the background here these like thorns vines.
Oh yeah.
You can see them here. So like in certain areas the corruption is like really bad. So like there'll be thorns everywhere, and there'll be like this like red pulsy goo and like everywhere.
Like
it's just
some gross bio goo or some shit.
Yeah, and it's just all they look very similar to the enemy that you've seen in the in the trailers.
Yeah.
It's like wood, red, black, charred
Oh yeah.
creature. Yeah, it's like
that's
that
a cool
stuff
look.
everywhere. Yeah,
That's
it's
a
very
cool
cool.
look, but it definitely looks like ew.
Yeah, it's well, yeah, it's yeah. Well, I have a comment on that I'll get to in a minute. Um, so yeah, like this whole area would have been like that and desolate. There's no plant life. It's all like dirt and destruction. And when you heal it, it turns into a beautiful sunset
Flowers
with
grow.
flowers growing everywhere and looks beautiful. And it lets you go on. So like you can't pass those areas.
There's a place in Stalker 2 where the opposite happens because the heavenly little flower garden is all an illusion. Spoilers for Stalker
that's cool.
2. But
that's cool.
Stalker 2's been out for a few months at this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
I figure most people who are interested have gotten to that part of the game.
Yeah, for sure. So it gives off Okami vibes in that sense. However, there is another game that came out years ago that this game is evoking pretty strongly in terms of its gameplay and the fact that I would say it's an absolutely great PS2 game. And it's a game that I also really enjoyed, Kena.
I've never played. I don't think I've even heard of that.
Kena Bridge of Spirits?
No, I don't remember that. I'm searching the brain database and there's just a big fat nothing.
It's the one that was from Amber Labs, the group of, I think, I could be wrong on this, but I think they were all former Pixar animators that wanted to make a game.
Oh!
So the game looks like a Pixar or a DreamWorks.
Yeah, okay, I vaguely remember
There's like these little black, cute little things that run around, and and this girl with a staff, and
yeah.
Stunning game visually, stunning.
You know what? Let me look.
Just Google it real quick. Kena, Kena, Bridge of Spirits.
All right, Kena, show me something. Show me something cool.
I could have brought it up on my view on the view screen.
No, I'm looking at it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost a carbon copy of that game. From a gameplay standpoint, you're going around healing the world. There's corruption, and when you cure it, the area looks much more beautiful. It's the exact same thing. It's the Okami way of doing things. And both these games, both Kena and South of Midnight, both also look absolutely gorgeous. Very different art styles, but they're gorgeous.
I'm looking at some YouTube footage here, and if
you can find the forest area with the lightning, holy shit, dude! I've never seen.
This looks like almost like a diorama. Like everything kind of looks like it's constructed, like made of little materials like plastic and stuff. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that it looks like this
in
is
an artistic way.
Yeah, it looks like it's deliberately made to look like a scale model or a diorama or something. It's a cool look.
I think it's just because the game looks so. It's kind of like how some games look more realistic than life, you know?
Yeah.
It's got that kind of vibe where it's like, oh my god, this looks so good, it doesn't look real.
Yeah,
that kind of thing, which some people don't like. You know, I personally think that game is absolutely stunning.
It's also like the colors are very vibrant. Like, you know how a cell phone will like super saturate the colors and make the greens almost look like
makes that game look amazing.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it's got kind of that like ultra green look to the foliage and stuff. Yeah, this looks cool.
Yeah, it's a great game, but again, it is a very simple from a gameplay standpoint, but just really carried by its visual and artistic design. Even down to like curing the corruption areas, like it's so close, and I didn't anticipate that. But it's great. I'm enjoying it. It's keeping me hooked. I want to play more. I will say that, you know, I don't think it's going to win any awards for gameplay, just like Kena didn't. But it is a great experience, and this is a drastic, I would say, improvement over We Happy Few. You know?
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's because that's really what it needs to be.
Yeah, I would consider this a AA game. or maybe a single A game, let's say, because
single A.
Yeah. Well, there's so much variance now, like it's so tough to say because like I would consider a double A game to have better gameplay than this, you know. So I'd say like
I just think it's such a stupid arbitrary designation.
Like, it is.
It's not just like the letter; it's how many of these letters does it get.
Like, well, I mean, if you want to do it on an A, B, C, D, thing, then it's definitely a B.
Nobody ever talks about like, oh, is this a triple Q game?
Yeah, but no, I'm really enjoying it. It's visually beautiful. There is one thing I don't like about it though. Okay. And would you guess from the trailers and the gameplay that there is a lot of swearing in this game?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but like how vulgar are we talking about?
There's F shots pretty consistently.
Oh, really? No, okay.
Yeah, I was very taken aback by that. Not because I don't like swearing, but because this game didn't need it.
Yeah, it seems like a very chill game.
Yeah, this game would have been way better off by not having any swearing in it. It's jarring every single time she says "fuck."
Yeah,
she says "what the fuck" all the time, and I'm like, this didn't need that. It feels like a DreamWorks or a Disney film.
Yeah, if
it doesn't need swearing.
If you suddenly heard like Woody or Buzz Lightyear go, "What the fuck?" What the
You'd
fuck,
be like,
Buzz?
Yeah, it's very jarring every time she says it. So
yeah,
that I don't like. I don't think it matches the style of game or style of storytelling that they've got going on. And it honestly, the first 10 minutes of this game, I don't know if you've seen Coraline before.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Gave me Coraline vibes up the asshole. I was and I love Coraline.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Maybe don't say it like that, considering what Neil Gaiman's been accused of.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, not up the asshole, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like the visual style very similar. That sort of like cool, crafted.
Yeah.
Great vibes from it. So, yeah, don't like the swearing. Think it's stupid. Doesn't add anything. If anything, it takes away from the experience for me.
Yeah, it just seems out of character for it.
It just doesn't match the game. Maybe it will at some point. Like maybe it'll make more sense. But right now, it just feels like whoa. Kind of wish there was an accessibility option for no swearing.
Yeah, probably would have made it better. The DMC show is kind of like that because the games themselves are pretty light on swearing.
Yeah.
Because like there's this, I don't know if it's specifically unspoken, but there's definitely an effort to not try to make Dante look cool the traditional ways. Like Dante doesn't go around fucking everybody. He doesn't go around saying fuck, shit, fuck. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't really drink. He's just like he's cool because he's a badass. He's also kind of a loser because he lives like a loser and just eats pizza. But like he's a badass because he actually does badass things, not because he's a bad boy.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this new DMC show, Dante doesn't really swear, but Lady says fuck constantly. Which is like it's
again, I'm not like a prude or like a
no.
My ears are not sensitive to swearing. I swear fairly consistently.
Yeah, I swear pretty consistently. Anybody who listens to this show knows that.
But I wouldn't say consistently to the point where it loses its meaning.
Yeah.
Because I've met some people that swear every other word, and I'm
you got to use
it's painful.
You got to use it less like punctuation, and use it more like emphasis.
Yes.
If everything is fucking this or fucking that, then nothing is fucking. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not saying that this game does that. It's not consistent enough to be egregious. It's just every time it pops up,
it feels weird and out of place.
It just feels out of place. And I'm not the game is not very clear about how old she is, but she doesn't strike me as someone that's older than like 20 maximum. She might be like 16, 17. I don't really know. It's not very clear how old she is. So that also kind of makes me a little bit like why? It's kind of, what it reminds me of? I played Forspoken. a little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
And her swearing in that was just like, oh my god, we're in this freaking like fantasy castles and dragons world, and you're going like, what the fuck is that? It's just
Yeah, like there's that moment in Forspoken where she discovers her magic powers,
mm,
right, in this fantasy world. That's the time for you to go, what the fuck just happened? Did I just shoot
yeah,
fucking fire out of my hands? But like
yeah,
once you've adjusted to the new reality of yes, you can shoot fire out of your hands, it's kind of like, okay, take it easy. You know it now.
yeah, exactly.
You get you look, I don't care what the tone is. If you shoot fire out of your hands the first time, you can say, what the fuck is that? And it feels appropriate because that's just what people would say.
Yeah. Do you know? I say this. I've told the story before, but um, swearing is appropriate in certain situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in movies and in games and in mediums where you have an audio way of storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
you should save swearing if you're going to use it for moments that make sense, just like you were saying. And the perfect example I've ever been able to give for a perfect swear in a movie is and you might not like this movie because it's I don't know. I absolutely love this movie. And now I'm forgetting the damn name of it. It's an anime live action. Oh, it didn't get a sequel and I really wanted it. It's about a robot girl.
Are you talking about Ghost in the Shell?
No, definitely not. That one was terrible.
Battle
No.
Angel Alita.
Yes, Battle Angel Alita. Absolutely love that movie. And it has a moment in it because there's like no swearing in most of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets to a point where she like wakes up basically and fights back. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, well, you should see it. It's amazing.
I have been meaning to see it, but those fucking blown up CGI eyes are just so fucking creepy.
Yeah, they are.
You shouldn't try to give a live action character anime eyes. It just looks weird.
It grows on you a little bit because she's so different. I would give it a try because it's one of my favorite movies of the last like 2 decades. Like it's really good. But there's a point in the movie where do you know the story of?
Yeah, I know the basic story of it. Yeah.
So, she wakes up and she's trying to figure out who she is and all this kind of stuff, and she gets attacked by this big robot dude, but bionic dude, I can't remember. But they get into a huge fight, and she's like on her fucking deathbed. She's lost all of her like almost all of her limbs. Like she's devastated. She's destroyed, and with one limb left, she like somehow hops up and shoves this sword right into his head, and she lets out a "fuck your mercy," and it's just like it's just a moment.
Yeah,
it gave me fucking chills, and everyone I've talked to is like, that was like a movie moment. That was a moment that you don't forget because it was so well crafted, and that swear was so out of left field, and it comes at a perfect like it's just everything about it. It's perfection.
It's kind of like in Wind Waker when you finish off Ganon at the end and you embed your fucking sword in his head, and you're like,
"Whoa,
holy shit!"
Yeah, I did not see that coming. Yeah, or Caesar in Planet of the Apes, the new Planet of the Apes movie, when he finally goes, "No." And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, it's one of those moments.
Yeah.
Love that shit. That's how you do swearing to me in a movie, is to make it impactful. Is you use a moment like that to make it
emphasis.
Impactful. Emphasis. And this game just doesn't do that, and it doesn't need it. So anyway, I'm enjoying it. I will have much more to say when I beat the game. I'll keep the rest of my thoughts to when the game actually is finished for me. But for now, I'm enjoying it. And but I kind of do wish, or at least hope, it goes a little bit more open world, because I'm kind of constantly like, I wish I could go everywhere. You know? Like there's just it's so gorgeous all the time, and there's these vistas, and it's just it's beautiful, but I can't go there. I want to go there. I want to go see what's out there. Yeah. And I don't get that from like a game like Uncharted. In Uncharted, I'm along for the ride. This game kind of feels like it needed the open worldness. But we'll see how it goes in the long run.
Yep.
All right, let's get to your what you plan, which you've alluded to earlier.
Yes. So I am, first of all, I'm going to say this right now. This is going to contain spoilers.
Yes.
I have gotten the okay from Trevor to spoil the fuck out of Disco Elysium. Yes. So if you, like me, have somehow not yet played this game, or at least like me as of until yesterday when I finished it, stop listening now, because I'm going to talk about everything.
Yep, so I've got chapters on this video, so if you do not want to know the spoilers of Disco Elysium, just skip to the next chapter, which will be a screenshot scope. And,
all right.
You can just skip ahead. So
we are entering the spoiler zone now. All right, so Disco Elysium. This is a game, obviously has been the word on people's lips for a while. Came out in 2019, and then got this final cut update in 2021, I believe, which added full voice acting to the game, which it did not have before.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And there's a lot.
Yeah,
there's lot.
The game is a lot. It's basically just like 90% talking.
The game is essentially a text adventure game.
Yes,
where you move around to different places. Yep. This could have absolutely been a literal text adventure game like Zork or something, because everything is done with text. There is no combat. There is no action. There is, like, at least not in the, Mario sense of press A to jump. There's action, but it's just choosing what to do and hoping that it works out and that you made the right choice.
And there's no failure states in the game, I don't think.
Oh no, there are failure states.
Oh, okay.
There are you do have health.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You can be injured and you can die. But you basically have to be trying to die, because when you lose your last point of health, it gives you a grace period to use a healing item. It says, hey, use the healing item now.
You should probably heal.
Yeah. There's also morale, which if your morale goes to 0, you quit the case and you quit your job and you just walk off. But it's essentially a second type of health bar. One is for physical damage and one is for emotional damage. Insert the clip of who's that Asian guy, who does the regular and childhood versus Asian childhood or whatever. I fucking forget, but he's like, he's got the shoe. He's like, oh, I get you. I'm not, you know what? I'm going to stop that impression right there. I'm going to stop that impression right there. But hold on. Let me look it up. Emotional damage.
I'm just going to stop that impression right there. Good call.
Stephen He. That's the guy I'm talking about. He's got like a lot of TikTok videos, and the fucking there's a thumbnail here: easy, medium, hard, and Asian, and he's holding the fucking slipper.
Good lord.
So anyway, so people have been talking about this game for a while, and
one game of the year from a lot of places the year that it came out.
Yeah, it did, and now I understand why. So I decided I'd finally try it. So I finally tried it, and I talked about this a little bit in that it was bumping me away. I hadn't completely bounced off of it, but it was pushing, and I was like, this game wouldn't be so critically acclaimed if there wasn't something to it. So I'm gonna keep going and see if it gets its hooks into me, and it did. So here's what happened. There was let me just start from the beginning. You wake up in your trashed hotel room, completely fucked up on drugs and alcohol, or at least the night before you were, and you remember absolutely nothing. So remember how I said that Disco Elysium has a way of giving you, the player, the story without resorting to a bunch of exposition? Well, here, it is explained as you don't remember fucking anything, or at least you don't consciously remember everything. You will get bits and pieces start to come back as you play,
Yeah.
Although that will also depend on your stats. There's a lot of stats in this game, but they're
Yeah.
all completely like internalized.
Yeah.
So it's not like
they're basically represented by like your different consciousness
states of consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like
your empathy and like
your empathy, your rhetoric, your logic, what's called encyclopedia, which is just the information that you know in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's like some more esoteric stuff. Like there's shivers, which is basically your vibes, your ability to pick up on the vibes of the city. Which is like, does he have psychic powers? Because it's like you kind of sometimes get shivers for moments that you couldn't possibly know
it's
about.
Almost like intuition.
Yeah, it's like, well, Inland Empire is a sense of more immediate intuition, and shivers is with regards to the city, to the vibe of the city in general. There's a whole bunch of them, and so you wake up from this bender, more or less a blank slate, and you have to not only figure out who the fuck you are, but why you're here, and you figure out eventually that you are Harry Dubois, and that you're a police officer, and you were sent here to solve a murder case. And the body is still strung up, and has been strung up for a fucking week.
Yeah.
So,
Yummy.
yeah. So you also later on find out that you apparently, during your rampage, you told the other officers from your unit to fuck off, and quite literally to fuck off. That's not me putting my spin on it. That's what you said. Either it was like fuck off, detect or die, I believe were his exact words.
He's a special cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then in a drunken stupor, you drove your vehicle through a fence. Well, not through a fence. You backed up into the fence and then drove off in the other direction. But the fence is dead.
The fence is dead.
You need to
it's got 0 HP.
You need to deliver the news to the fence's widow, because the fence did not survive one way or the other. That's not like, I say that's not even the, you do literally deliver news to a widow in this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, that part's so bad. I'll get to that. Then you drove, you ramped off a building. There was a slope. You reached the top of the building, which had a sloped roof, and you ramped off of it, knocked over a sign, damaged I guess you would call it a sluice. I'm not sure it's large enough to be called a canal, but you damaged an area that water moves through and cuts you off from the other half of the map until the third day. And then you promptly drove your car into the river, which the thing is that you start off like trying to figure out, like you come to the scene and you do this like mental scene reconstruction thing where it like highlights stuff, and you see like the ghostly after image of the vehicle, like the vehicle was here and then it moved here, and you can like see this imaginary vehicle as you reconstruct the scene in your head. And eventually, like as you're figuring out what happened, and eventually you realize, oh fuck, this is my car. You don't realize that you did this until you solve it. So like 3 days later, you're like, oh God, that's a police vehicle in the ice. Oh no.
Yeah, I only got to I don't think I got past the barricade. Like I didn't get very far.
Yeah, you don't go past like the strike barricade.
Yeah, I never got past that.
You don't go past that.
Oh, okay.
No.
So that opening area I didn't get past then. If there's another way out of that area,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's across the canal or sluice or whatever you'd call it.
So where on the map do you go to get there?
Well, you go. So did you go to the pawn shop?
I remember talking to the guy in the barricade, like the leader or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to the people like around, like that were in the lineup, and talking to the shop owner and doing all the things like taking a look at the dead body and talking to the kids that were throwing stones.
Oh God, the kids. We'll get to the kids.
I remember that. That's basically all I remember.
It's basically down and to the left. It takes 3 days for it to be repaired. You can't advance it. It advances with time.
Oh, so you have to go to bed?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's probably why I got frustrated, because I was like, I don't fucking know what to do.
Yes. Once you're at 2100 hours, most people will start going to bed, and that's when you can go to bed. And by 2 a.m., everybody's gone to bed. They tell you this in a loading screen.
Time must move very slowly, because I don't even remember.
Time only moves when you speak to people.
Oh my. Okay, maybe I will have to replay this game.
Oh God.
Because I don't. Yeah, I remember just getting kind of frustrated and being like, I don't know what to do next.
Time only advances when you talk to people or when you read a book. That's why you can buy and read books in the game to advance time.
Okay. Maybe I will replay it. Okay.
Oh God, do I have to revise what I was going to say?
No, I probably won't remember half of it anyway, because like I'm pretty bad at.
Oh, by the time you get to it, it'll be
because I still got like 3 or 4 games to play before I would get back to it.
I will try to avoid spoiling the exact solutions to puzzles.
Okay. Do that.
Aside from the one that I just spoiled, I guess.
That's fine. I don't.
Yeah.
You didn't. Yeah. You're good.
So you go out back, behind the motel that you're staying at, and you find it's a weird time when street urchins is the most generous term you can use to describe children. These children are monsters.
Oh yeah, they're terrible people.
And I love them. I truly do. They are
the one kid especially.
God,
he's evil.
Oh no, the girl is the worst one.
Oh yeah.
The girl, because the girl is, well, you figure out stuff depending on your stats. You can figure out that the girl is actually like legitimately the more fucked up of the two, because you determine that she has actually killed someone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like Kuno like says that she's killed somebody, and you like internally, if you have high enough stats in the appropriate areas, you can figure out that yes, she does match like these psychological signs of a child who has killed, like, for survival.
Wow.
And that would explain why.
Doesn't that make you feel bad for her then?
Well, yeah, but like she's also, this is the only time where they censor any of the dialogue in the game. They call you a slur for homosexuals repeatedly.
Oh. Okay.
Repeatedly. Constantly.
I think I remember that, actually.
Yeah. It's the only word in the game that's censored. And
do they blur the word? Or do they beep it?
It's
because there's audio now.
Yes. So there's like a static sound effect. They go and then static. And the word is spelled F***T.
I wonder why they chose to use the word but censor it.
Yeah, that I found a little bit strange. It's like I like, it's pretty clear that you're not condoning that kind of language.
No.
It's pretty clear that it's meant to be like, this is...
I mean, it's a pretty dark place. It's a pretty dark game.
Yeah, it's a very dark place.
Yeah. So...
That's not even the darkest thing that can be done. You can shoot that little girl. It ends the game, but you can do it.
Why? When you shoot her, does you get arrested?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Your partner's like, you're fucking insane, and the game ends.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I don't really know why they did it, but they did.
Yeah.
And whatever. I'm not going to fault people for not putting a slur in a game.
See. Well, no, I mean, I'm not offended by. I mean, words are words to me. They're not offensive, honestly.
Yeah, I can see why people would be uncomfortable. Like, I feel like it should have been a toggle.
That's what I mean. Like, why wasn't it just an accessibility option instead of just
like, if you don't want to hear slurs, here. But putting it in the game, it's kind of like wanting to have their cake and eat it too. Like, we used a slur without using a slur. Like, I'm kind of like, but you did use the slur.
I wonder if
just
it wasn't bleeped in the original version. And they got
no,
like
it
backlash
was.
for it, maybe.
I've checked.
So it's always been bleeped. That's so weird.
Because the voice acting, they recast some of the characters, and Kuno is one of them. Because I guess they couldn't get all of the voice actors back for the full dialogue re-recording.
Oh, okay.
So some of the characters are recast. And I wanted to hear what some of these different takes on the characters sounded like, and I've seen YouTube footage of Kuno's original dialogue, and it's still censored in there. So it was a choice that they made, but whatever.
I do remember another thing that I did. Don't you follow the girl back to like a little hideout? It's near the dead body. There's like a little like. Shed or something.
There's you don't follow her back there, but you can find that there's a shed back there, and that's
it's like where they hide or something.
Yeah.
I do remember that part.
Yeah.
I must have exhausted literally everything you can do within like the first day because I never went to sleep.
Yeah, you probably did.
And then I was like, well, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
But so there's apparently, from what I understand, there's two ways of getting the body down. I opted for the one where you shoot it down because I'm me. So you shoot the body down, you examine the body, and
nobody's got a ladder with it or a knife.
Well, they actually do have some pretty good justifications. There are some like some posts nailed to the tree, like some things to climb up, but
it was supposed to be.
But everybody's like, I'm not going up there. Like you're like, no, this looks dangerous, and Kim is like, I'm not going up there, and Kuno's
but like nobody's got a ladder.
Kuno's like, I'm not fucking going up there. No. Well, I mean, cutting down the limb when it's got that much weight on it could be dangerous because like it's holding a human being on it.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, like it.
Although, well, I mean, you're going to shoot it.
Shooting it is also dangerous. I'm not saying that it's the greatest solution.
Oh my god, it's funny.
But anyway, so you get it down, you examine the body, and it is set up to make it look like he was lynched by the enforcers from the dock workers union, which is currently on strike. This you find out that this guy was a mercenary. Who was brought in basically as a bodyguard detail for a negotiator from the company who uses this dockyard for their shipping, and they were there for a little while, and then things went south. Now, I'm not going to say exactly how they went south. It looks like it was a lynching. However, during your examination of the body, you can find a clue. Now, I'm not going to say what that clue is, but you can find something that suggests there's more to this than meets the eye. And that's where the game got its hooks into me.
I think I remember getting that far.
And I was like, I knew
I don't remember what it was, but
I knew that there had to be more to this than just what it seemed to be. But I didn't know what it was. I was just like, there's got to be, because it wouldn't, like, that would be a very short case, because they basically admit to lynching the guy. They say like, oh, he raped a woman, blah 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 blah. But as you investigate, you can take that story apart, and it turns out they're covering up for something else. But you find this clue, and you're like, oh, that's not a lynching. This guy was dead before they put him up in the tree. And so the intrigue builds from there. And now you're trying to find out who exactly did it and why. And there's a lot of potential candidates. And I will get back to that. But like, there is so much to do in this little area. The game doesn't expand by very much.
I was going to ask you, how many areas are there? Because there's like the opening area, which is like the street
Mm-hmm.
with the barricade at the end and the dead bodies behind the shop.
Yeah.
And then there's like a bunch of cars in the bottom right hand corner, and then that's basically it. Oh, and the inn, obviously. But
yeah. So
how many more are there?
Once you can get across the river, there is a incredibly poor shanty town.
Okay.
A church just north of that.
Okay.
And to the northwest, some abandoned commercial like office buildings. And that's it. That's all there is to this. At no point do you go through a loading screen outdoors. There's no like going to zone 2, going to zone 3. You can just walk one straight line to the other once you've...
That's cool.
Yeah. But
so it's only when you go indoors.
It's only when you go indoors. It's a very small game, geographically speaking. I thought you were going to go to like different districts in the city. No. Yeah. No, you stay in that one spot in the whole game.
And it's just very dense.
But it's very dense. There's a lot to do there. There's a lot of people to talk to. There's a lot of things to talk to them about. And people are intertwined in things in ways that you might not expect. And this again plays into the way that the game handles exposition, because not only does it, do you basically play the game rediscovering who this character is, but there's through the various aspects of your consciousness, there is information in there. Like there's one that's called Shivers, which we talked about.
Yep.
Where you're connecting with the city, and there's a lot of flavor text in these Shivers moments, but a lot of it is actually relevant to gameplay, and you don't realize it initially. Like there's a Shivers check pretty early on that you do, and it tells you, like, oh, what's the vibe that I get from this direction, from that direction. It tells you, oh, a fishing village, a church, abandoned buildings. And you're like, cool. And then it's like, oh no, you go there. This isn't just like flavor text. This is actually this is my destination for the later part of the game. But there's contextual information in a lot of dialogue and a lot of skill checks that will or can affect your knowledge both as the character and as the player. So there will be times where something will come up either in dialogue or in a skill check, and it will become relevant later in the game. And it doesn't tell you that it'll be relevant later in the game. Like at one point, you're talking to somebody who knew the victim before he was killed. You find out that he had blue eyes. That doesn't become relevant again until you're like 90% of the way through the game, when you're encountering the other mercenaries from that mercenary company, and knowing that he had blue eyes gives you a bonus to a skill check in the dialogue with one of those mercenaries, because you knew something personal about him. And the game never tells you when it's going to give Harry, some kind of knowledge, flip some kind of flag in the game that says Harry knows this and it can come up again. Right. But there's also information in there for you, the player, to kind of help guide Harry through the game. Like, for example, when you maybe have to bullshit people about your memory loss and say, it's not that bad, I'll be fine, because they'll lose confidence in you if they know the full extent of the damage. Having that background information can help you, the player, make a better decision about which way you're going to bullshit that character so as not to deflate their confidence in you. Right. Like there's information in there that is flavor. There is information in there that is story relevant. There is information that is mechanical to Harry, and there's information that is mechanical to you, the player. And at no point do they distinguish any of it. It's just all in there. And like the cool thing is that you don't know when something is going to be important, because they could do something like, you know how in like Telltale games, they'll have a thing that comes up and says, so-and-so will remember that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or it's like, oh, you added that fact to your journal. None of that happens in this game. You just, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's a neat little detail, I guess.
You
but
just
I
have to
don't
pay attention.
Yeah, I don't see how it's relevant. 5 hours later, oh, the fact that I noticed that one little thing actually makes a big deal in this part. That's cool. I'm glad that I explored every nook and cranny to find that.
Yep.
There's also, and this was something that surprised me, there are skill checks that, number one, are impossible to succeed at. I think there's only like 2 in the game, but they're impossible to succeed at because it's meant to show you that you can't always win. And there's also a few places where failing a skill check will give you the desired outcome. Because sometimes succeeding at your skill check actually plays out worse. I'll give you an example. There's a character in this game who is a graffiti artist. She does not have a high opinion of you because you're a cop and she's a graffiti artist, and at one point you find a blank wall and you can be inspired to paint something on this wall, to express yourself. If the stat conceptualization, which is related to expression and visualization of, artistic endeavors, is high enough. And that's a stat that's important to have because sometimes you'll need to conceptualize things that are less abstract than art and are more like directly related to the case. So it's a good skill to have. And this exercise of this skill can earn you experience points. So you should do it. Here's the thing. You will go to her and you will say, hey, can I borrow your paintbrush to paint this wall? And it's a skill check. And if you fail the skill check, she will be so filled with pity for how pathetic you are. She'll go, fine, take it. I can't stand to see you be such a loser. But if you pass the skill check and you tell her your idea, she's like, that's a really good idea. No, you can't have the paintbrush. And one of your aspects of consciousness comes up and says, she doesn't want the competition. Your idea is too good. Because she paints with colored fuel oil. They add like a dye to the fuel to let people know, hey, this isn't just a water, this is flammable fuel. So it's like a really bright red color, and so she paints with this stuff. And the idea that you come up with, if you succeed the conceptualization check, is to say, I'm going to paint a bird on the wall and then light the flammable oil on fire, so I will have a phoenix, an actual burning phoenix on the wall. And she's like, that's too good an idea. I'm not going to let you do that in my territory. So failing the check actually gets you what you want.
Can you choose to fail?
No, you cannot choose to fail. It's a roll of the dice.
That's a little, I don't know if I like that.
Well, the thing is, it tells you what your odds are, so you will know. And I mean, you could always save scum it if you really want to,
which I never do in games. I hate that.
I'm just saying you could.
Yeah.
But it's like it does so many things that we traditionally don't want games to do, which is to lie to us, to not tell us when something is important, to have things happen to have cause and effect be separated by so much time that you might not even remember that thing in the first place. But it does it all in a way that enhances the experience and makes it really, really good. Like you will just want to remember the things that you've done in this game because it's so interesting. The game world is so interesting. You can learn shit about the game world that has little to no impact on the game, but is fucking cool and really interesting. And, part of this larger setting that they were developing for future games, which, let's be real, are not going to happen after they were ousted from their own company. Which is a
whole other story.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is that this game's pretty critical of capitalism. The lead writer of the game is a self-described communist. Like he's big on communism, and this game's pretty big on communism too. Although to be fair, this game it has pretty scathing criticisms for various political ideologies, and it does not spare communism from those criticisms. In fact, I would say that its critiques of communism are probably its most savage, because it's real easy to critique something like, say, fascism. That's a pretty easy thing to do. It's a pretty easy ideology to say, this is fucking shit, right? Yeah. But the best way to sum it up is that there's a line in the game when you're having an internal monologue with your consciousness about communism, where it says, as a communist, you'll be doing this, and arguing with other communists. And one of the things you can say to your mind is, isn't that counterproductive to argue with communists? And then it responds, no. The vast majority of communists spend most of their time complaining about other communists. It's just like, it's such a sharp critique of even the writer's own ideology, that even though it does sometimes start to approach being a little up its own ass, the fact that it's willing to go right back and say, yes, I believe in this, but also it kind of sucks. Like, it has problems.
It's very self-aware.
It's extremely self-aware. There are few games that have a clearly defined philosophy that are also willing to critique and sometimes just outright shit on their own philosophy. But I really appreciate that this game is willing to do that.
Yeah.
There's also, like, relating to to the situation with the intellectual property and with the company. There's a line in the game that talks about how the nature of capitalism means that it will, at some point or another, absorb all critiques of it. Like it because people need money to function in all societies that currently exist. Capital and some degree of capitalism is inevitable, and because of that, it's basically inevitable that even criticisms of capitalism will be exploited for capitalism, like, say, a game written by a communist that's sold for money. But the fact that now capitalism, corporate investors who are interested in money and not art, have more or less forced ownership of the company to themselves, because this thing is now a hot property. It's like, it is the fucking, it is like the truest prediction of that line is like, oh yeah, capitalism absorbs everything. Yeah, it absorbed the fucking Disco Elysium IP because capitalists went and said, oh, fuck all the artists, we're going to take this for ourselves because it's a hot property now.
And then they haven't done anything with it.
No, they haven't done anything with it yet. They've announced, we mentioned this a little while ago, they've announced a new project that they're working on, but like,
but it's not Disco Elysium.
It's not Disco Elysium, and it's not going to matter because, like, look, you might be able to get people who can write really well. You're going to have a hard time getting people who could write this kind of story as well as these people have, because it is a story that is very personal to them. Like, it's not literally like a biographical story, but the things that this game talks about and the themes of it are very personal to the people who wrote. Like, if you look into these people, who are not game designers, by the way, they're artists who have worked in other mediums, and they were like, let's try games next. And they got a taste of one of the most capitalistic forms of entertainment in the world, I guess. But like, the themes of this game are so personal to them that you wouldn't be able to make another game like this without them.
No, it would have to be entirely different. It can't be Yeah, you can't make a sequel to it. It's too...
No, not without them.
No.
I mean, you could absolutely put out a game called Disco Elysium 2, but it would not be a true Disco Elysium 2. It would just be something wearing the name.
And honestly, it kind of feels like a game that's kind of... You do a sequel, it's not going to feel the same. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the ending does kind of set up, because the story hinges on this social unrest, this this strike that's happening in an already extremely poor part of the city, a city that has been host to a communist revolution about 50 years earlier. And it's still recent enough that there are still some people who are kind of like, the communists maybe should have won that revolution, and maybe we should try again at some point. So they do, like, this is the kind of game that they could absolutely leave as it is. There is potential for a sequel there, and I believe I've read that the plans were to make 3 games, like to make a trilogy of these. And this is a larger setting that the writer created. Like, I believe they would host like tabletop RPG games in this setting that they made before using it for a video game. So it is actually a very well developed setting, even if you only see like literally 2 blocks of it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely something that could have more meat on the bone. But it feels kind of appropriate that this game, being what it is and being what it's about and saying the things that it says, the legacy of it has kind of also crashed and burned. It just feels like there's really like not many other places that this could have gone, unfortunately. I mean, I would love for those people to still be in control of this IP and be able to do whatever they want with it. But at the moment, that doesn't like it's going to take a miracle for a real Disco Elysium 2 to happen. And I won't say never, because like stranger things have happened. But I also like, I don't want to say like, I don't want to say with enough conviction it could happen, because that could is doing a lot of heavy lifting. We're not talking about like a 50-50 chance here. We're talking about like a 1 in a million chance. It's theoretically possible, but it seems pretty unlikely.
So I don't know how I missed this, but less than 2 weeks ago, some details came out about the canceled Disco Elysium expansion, which was only canceled in February. The article from PC Gamer reads, at the same time that ZAUM laid off 24 employees, including Argo, the final writer guy, they also canceled the Disco Elysium expansion, which was internally called Project X7, showing where it was at 9 months before it was canceled. Trying to get to where it actually gives you some details here. There we go. So it was an entire presentation, like a 10-minute presentation. It says Project X7 would have been called Locust City, an Elysium story, and would have been a single-player cooperative game in which the player could switch between 2 characters.
Okay.
Kuno and Kunoesi, or Kunoes.
Yeah, the girl. Yeah.
The girl. The 2 violent brats from the Disco Elysium might not seem like an obvious choice for protagonists, but if you take the Kuno path...
Actually, they seem like a super obvious choice.
Well, there you go. But if you take the Kuno path rather than the Kim path through the original game, that vicious kid's got quite a character arc, and it actually makes a weird amount of sense to focus on him in a follow-up. As the video goes on to reveal, Locust City would have let both characters talk to different skills. Oh, right, because you talk to different consciousness?
Yeah, different aspects of your consciousness.
Yeah, including some returning from Disco Elysium, like Inland Empire and Authority. There would also be completely new skills with Kuno S, Is that how you say her name?
Yeah.
Kuno S. Having access to Pursuit and Ambush, while Kuno had the evocatively named Scar Shield and Beastmaster Raccuno. Also returning would be the Thought Cabinet, including thoughts that can be unlocked by having two characters talk to each other on their journey. Over the course of Locust City's 5 acts, they'd be fleeing from
Martinez
to Kuno S. That's a weird name, Kuno S.
Mm-hmm.
Kuno S.'s home after a murder takes place, with the video highlighting a train journey from Act 2. Another interesting mechanical tweak would have been the option for both characters to cooperate to attempt skill checks together, a feature I'm sure players who wanted to work more closely with Disco Elysium's beloved sidekick Kim would have loved.
Yeah, that is a thing. You don't have as many conversations with Kim as you might
as you
think.
Would think you would.
Like, it happens occasionally. He'll have an icon on his portrait that says that he's got new dialogue. I would have thought, I was actually really surprised that only happens like 2 or 3 times in the entire game.
Oh, that's sad. I thought, yeah.
Kim does contribute to conversations a lot. He will pop in and say things all the time. So it's not like he doesn't play a role in the story. I just thought, I think quite reasonably, that there would just be more one-on-one conversations between Harry and Kim, and there are only a few.
It also says that the game would have multiple endings depending on your choices, with 4 or 5 potential different outcomes. There would have been separate inventories for the characters, with different items having different effects. The example shown in the presentation is a hat that boosts Kuno's encyclopedia skill, but is a hat that boosts Kuno's encyclopedia skill, but increases Kuno S's authority skill because it makes her feel taller. Even the sound design would have been different based on which character you were controlling.
That makes sense.
As for the name, Locust City is a reference to a shoebox full of locusts carried around by Kuno throughout the game.
Yep.
You could have checked on this bug colony to get updated on the evolving civilization within, which would be changed by decisions you make and items you add to the box. The locusts would eventually develop their own political system and potentially fight wars or dream of freedom. Sounds like just the right amount of batshit crazy for a Disco Elysium game.
I'm actually really upset that this is not happening now, because the locusts. So the locusts. Oh my god! You remember the lady in the wheelchair in the hotel?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you find out later that she and her husband are cryptozoologists, so they look for like Bigfoot and shit. And you can get roped into their search for a local cryptid called the Insulingen phasmid, which is supposedly like a stick bug, but like a big stick bug that camouflages itself in the reeds that grow around the waterfront. And one of the things you do is you fill traps with locusts to act as bait. And at one point, Kuno empties the one of the traps of locusts for this locust colony that he's building inside the shack you mentioned.
Oh my god!
So this would have actually, this would have tied in
nicely.
really well. And as for what it says, a little bit further up, there is a confrontation I mentioned with the mercenaries, where they're out for, like, this isn't really a spoiler. They're out for blood because their commanding officer was killed. And like, if you can believe it, the commanding officer sounds like he was the reasonable one. And this is a guy who you hear a story about him being in the jungle, and I don't know how much detail I want to go into about this, because it's kind of graphic. The game even says, "Are you sure you want to hear about this?" But I will try to be vague. You hear a story about the murdered mercenary, in which he was on deployment in the jungle and took part in a very graphically described rape of a young girl. And more than that, I'm just going to leave it at that, because it gets fairly graphic, and it's like, this guy was the good one of the group.
Yeesh.
Like this is the reasonable member of that group of mercenaries. So
scary group.
Yeah, they're very fucked up people, but you have a confrontation with them where the tensions come to a head, and it turns into a gunfight. There is in fact no way to avoid it turning into a gunfight because you cannot solve the crime until after this point. And because you cannot tell them, you cannot explain to them why their commander was killed. They're just going to assume, as the the Hardy Boys, the squad of goons from the Union, who, by the way, are actually somewhat reasonable people once you get to know them. They're out for blood, and the Hardy Boys are willing to fight back. And it's not a matter of stopping the gunfight. The gunfight's going to happen. It's how many casualties can you prevent? And depending on the skill checks that happen in that, Lieutenant Kitsuragi can be shot and taken to the hospital. And if that happens, Kuno becomes your partner for the remainder of the game, which admittedly, there's not very much beyond that point. That's like honestly, that's like the 90% point of the game. You're basically from there, you go to the final area, which is the only time in the game where the screen kind of shifts. It only shifts up a little bit. It's not really a fade out so much as it is just here's a long boat ride to here while we, I guess, load the next asset. But it's not even really like a fade out. It's just here. It's just off screen.
Right.
And that's where you solve the mystery. But yes, for a brief time, Kuno can be your partner. And apparently there's like a whole bunch of plot that can happen with Kuno. Like he can even be like taken off the streets and recruited and like become a recruit in the police department. Which like I kind of wanted to see. Well, I mean, this is look.
It's a dark game.
It's a dark game. It's a dark game, but honestly, anywhere is better than here for Kuno. Being fair. With Kuno S is bringing out his worst urges. Like your empathy explains this to you, that Kuno S is actually the worst one, and she's the one that's enabling his worst impulses, and that if Kuno were to be removed from this situation, he would probably improve somewhat. There's more to this kid than just being a speed addict who throws rocks at dead bodies. There's actually, this kid has some smarts, and he could be more if he is removed from this environment. But he's also very protective of Kuno S, so it's going to take something like, say, somebody getting shot for him to leave her side.
Right.
Because like he's basically the one who took her in after the shit she went through, so he's very protective of her. But anyway, I went with the Kim side of things because I like Kim. I wanted to see this through with him. If I ever play it again, and I don't know that I will, I might someday. It's not the kind of game where I feel like I want to jump right back in right away, because I need to process it. I honestly wished I'd finished it a little bit earlier so that I had more than just 24 hours to kind of absorb it and talk about it here. Well,
if you have any more thoughts next week, and you go,
sure. So. But it's the kind of thing that I might play again in the future, like maybe in a year or two.
How long was it?
I don't know exactly how much time I spent on it. Now that I know how to get through the game, it would be considerably shorter. Now that I know where to go and what I'm looking for, it would be considerably shorter. I think I'm gonna guess I probably spent about 20 hours on it.
Online it looks like they're saying anywhere from 20 to 40, depending on how much time you put into
40. That sounds like a lot.
Well, it says you can have it up to 90 if you do absolutely everything.
I don't know. I mean, that might be multiple playthroughs because you literally cannot do absolutely everything on a single playthrough.
So it says 100% completion run can take upwards of 40 to 60 hours. I can't speak, or 60 hours or even longer for a truly completionist player. If you're rushing the game, you can complete it in around 20 to 30 hours. If you want to savor every single detail, the game can take up to 90.
Yeah, that would definitely have to be multiple playthroughs because like 100% completion kind of says doing every
changing
possible...
your decisions and
yeah. Like I said, you cannot have Kuno and Kim as companions at the same time, so you would have to play it a second time to see the result of having the other one. So that would definitely be multiple playthroughs. I would say if you know your way through this game, and especially if you skip through the dialogue, you won't want to because the voice acting in this game is, for the most part, really good.
And the entire point of the game is the experience of
There's
being
one character in this game whose voice acting is inexplicably really, really bland, but she's only there for like one conversation, and that's it. And then she's gone. Which is
she
weird.
The one that you wake up and talk to immediately?
No.
Okay.
But she is connected to her.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But
I might play this again sooner than later, just so I can, talk to you about it in a different.
I would. Way. The problem is that so I don't usually play games right when they come out unless it's something that I absolutely need to, like Stalker 2.
Zelda.
So I'm usually a few years behind stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody for me to talk to this game about because everybody else has already finished it and moved on to other stuff. So if you play it and maybe even not even finish it, but if you play it and get a better sense of it, and we could have another conversation about it.
Well, now that I know how to proceed, I might give it another shot. I think that could be a lot
of fun. Now that I know how to get through the game, I could do it way faster because there's nothing for me to figure out now, right?
No,
like I know what the answers to things are. Now it's just a case of picking different answers and seeing what paths that takes me down. Right.
Yeah.
And there are actually a few ways you can solve this. It's not like a linear. Strictly speaking, it's not a linear. Like you can find out multiple clues that will lead you to the same conclusion.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably more like Mass Effect, where like you start off in a fairly funneled position, and then like Mass Effect 2, you go all the way out here, and then as you get to the end of Mass Effect 3, it kind of comes back.
Well, it's like you're at point A, and then there are multiple point Bs. Those point Bs are clues that can lead you to point C. And
so you're always going to the same place. It's how you get there.
It's how you get there.
That changes.
It's what clues you find that leads you to that conclusion. So there's only one point C, but there's many point Bs that could lead you there. And you can find sometimes multiple of those clues. You don't just need to find the one. You could potentially find more of them if you really exhaust everywhere. And there can be advantages to that because, like I said, knowing things and finding things and doing things can give you bonuses in skill checks.
Yep.
So the game encourages you to try and find as many clues, but you generally only need
games. So.
Yeah. You generally only need the one that can lead you to point C. And then from point C, there are multiple point Ds that will lead you to point E. And, it's how you get from one beat of the story to another. So now that I know my way through, I could probably do this game in like 10 hours or even less.
Okay.
If I just skip through the dialogue. So... But for what will effectively be a first time playthrough for you because you didn't get very far, it'll take you longer than that. But it's not a super long game.
No, 20 hours is very,
it's
very
a game that can be made longer depending on whether or not you want to replay it a few times to see absolutely everything.
Which I won't. I'm not that kind of gamer.
Yeah, I'm not usually either. But like I said, for this one I might.
The only game I've ever played like that's like heavy on story more than once is Mass Effect.
Yeah.
But really, you can only play that game twice.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more binary.
Honestly, like getting a game that you can play twice, like a story-heavy game that you play twice, is pretty impressive in and of itself.
Oh yeah, especially a game that lasts 3 games.
Yeah. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Oh god, if they made a sequel to this, I wonder if your progress would carry over.
Depends how long it takes. Look at
Yeah.
Dragon Age.
Yeah, yeah.
Inquisition to
But like the things that you did in the story, because you get what is effectively a recap at the end of the game from Kim as he's because at the end of the game, like this isn't really a spoiler. Um, the officers that you dismissed come back and are like, we need to check on this fucking idiot before he gets himself killed. And you're like, hey guys, no big deal, just solve the fucking case, huh? And Kim is like, Harry, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Let me do the talking, okay? They even though like, and because I played the game like, because this is one of the great things is you can play the game differently. I played the game as a Harry who's decided maybe I should quit drinking. So I didn't drink at all throughout the game.
nice.
There is a point. You drinking can increase certain stats, smoking
Yes,
can
I
increase
remember
certain stats, doing drugs can increase certain stats. I stayed pretty clean. I smoked the occasional cigarette for the stat boost,
Yeah.
but nothing mind altering.
Nothing mind altering.
Although
yeah. I remember that option.
Yeah, Kim will basically give a recap and he'll say, "Look, even though you've cleaned up, they don't know that. They're not going to take anything you say seriously unless I validate it. So just shut the fuck up and let me do the talking first." And he
That's
says,
funny.
"Look, I've been with Harry pretty much the entire time. I haven't seen him take a drink once. He did smoke a lot, which isn't fair. I think I had like 4 cigarettes in the entire
So it
game.
really, yeah. So it really takes into account what
Yeah,
you do. That's
yeah.
interesting.
So I didn't do any drugs, didn't drink at all, and that was reflected in his report to those officers.
Kind
And
of
he,
makes me what would happen if you're like a complete drunk the whole game.
so that's the thing. I've heard that there's no actual penalties for that. They just make you feel bad. I don't
Huh.
know if that's true. I don't know if
Maybe.
that's
Well, maybe I'll play it that way, and
yeah.
if I play it, I'll let you
And
know.
that's just what I've heard, that after the fact, somebody apparently found out it doesn't actually change anything except the summary that Kim gives at the end of the game. Like it doesn't
Oh,
actually like break
that's a
down the
shame.
relationship with Kim or anything. No, but it's just made to make you feel bad because it's another piece of trickery. Like sometimes failing the skill check is actually what you want to have happen.
Right. Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, and games, we've talked about this before, a big part of games is presentation and making it feel like there's something more there than there actually is.
Yeah, it's true.
So now I don't know if that's the case for sure. That is something
Yeah.
I heard once a while ago. So it may not be accurate. I might not be remembering it correctly, but
No, it's fine.
that is what I've heard. So who knows? Like I said, or like you said, it'd be something for you to test if you decide to play it. Just get fucked up.
Yeah, I'll just drink constantly.
Oh, dude, not just drinking. You can get amphetamines. You can. Oh God,
That's gross. Jeez.
Yeah,
that's scary. No thanks.
Hey man,
I see enough of that on body cam watch. I don't need to see.
They boost your stats.
They do something.
Yeah.
Well, cool. The article here said finished off with saying it's a fascinating insight into a possible follow-up to Disco Elysium that we'll probably never get to see.
Yeah.
Instead, Zaum. I'm not sure if you actually pronounce that or if you just say the
as far as I know.
Is working on a mobile adaptation of Disco Elysium. And a new game that doesn't share Disco's setting, but sure does resemble it. That's Project C4. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Meanwhile, 2 of the names attached to Locust City, Argo and Dora, have founded the aforementioned studio Summer Eternal to work on a game of the same name, while Zaum's original founders, who left before any of this happened back in 2021, have founded a new studio called Red Info to work on an unannounced project.
Mm-hmm. Also, just to be clear about that situation, there are also allegations that that those guys, oh God, what are their names? Hold on, I had it up here.
The original founders.
Yeah, Robert Kurvitz, who is the writer, and Alexander Rostov, who is the artist. There were allegations that they were not maybe the greatest people to work for, especially Kurvitz. Which is like, on the one hand, I can kind of see, because they're not game developers. Kurvitz is an author. He's a novelist. He's written like,
he's used to working alone.
Yeah. So they maybe, didn't know the best way to handle this, although that is admittedly me being perhaps a little bit generous, because some of the things do go beyond, right? They just don't know what they're doing. Like, they could be kind of assholes sometimes, it sounds like. So, like, I'm not saying that this is entirely on the corporate side of things. It sounds like there were multiple problems within this studio.
Yeah.
But like, that is it's
beyond... not something we will know, just like, some of the other studios that have had some internal issues. It's like, all you can really know is what these people say, and you weren't there, so maybe they're taking things out of context. Who knows? There's no way to know.
But the other thing is that, like, my primary complaint here is like how how basically capitalism destroyed this game. Even if those guys are assholes, it is their art. You know, like, that being an asshole doesn't mean you should have your intellectual property stolen from you, out from under your feet, basically.
No, for sure.
Like, even if those guys are dicks, they still should have the rights to this, because it is their creation. Obviously, the creation of a lot of other people, but like, the setting was written by Kurvitz. So
yeah. Well, we'll see how all three of those studios work. We got Project C4, Summer Eternal, and whatever those original guys are working on now.
Yeah.
Obviously, they enjoyed it enough to stay in the industry. So
yeah,
we'll see what they come up with next, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. I will. I'll check it out again. I'll give it another shot. Maybe this week.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see if it depends, because like I want to play Blueprints. I'm trying to see if I can play that with the friend that I played Chance of Centaur with, because it seems like it's just really up our alley.
Okay.
If not, if I am playing it with her, then that'll be like a longer burn type game.
Yeah.
'Cause I can only play like once a week at most. So
yeah.
If I end up playing that myself, I'll probably be split between Blueprints and South of Midnight for the next week or two. Maybe longer, depending on how long those games are. I'm not really sure. But if I'm not playing Blueprints, I'll probably go back and forth between Disco and South of Midnight.
Yeah, so. I will say, it is probably the kind of game that you'd want to, like, not to
focus on.
Not to lean too heavily into the game's massive drug use, but like, it is the kind of game you'd want to cut with something, because it can get kind of intense sometimes. And
I see. Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you just want
a little bit too dark and depressing. Yeah.
It's not
like some lighter fare.
It's not it to me. Well, other than the story about the mercenary and what he did in the jungle, it never
crosses the line.
It never got quite as like bad as This War of Mine, which is a game that we've talked about multiple times.
Yeah. Great game.
But that's a game that's more like you are in the shit rather than you are observing the result of the shit. Because like in this game, the war happened 50 years earlier, and you're just seeing an area that was basically destroyed. Well, that's the thing. It's not.
Well, it was trying to recover.
It was shelled, and it was mostly just left the way it is. Like, there's a building that you can go into that used to be twice as tall, and they just never rebuilt it because this is a really poor part of town, and there's just no economic reason to put money in there because it wouldn't pay off. So Whereas in this war of mine, you are in the civil war that's happening, and you are, dealing with that firsthand. So
Right.
it never gets to that point. But like sometimes there's just so much in Disco Elysium that you need to like. I need to back off and just kind of let this process a little bit. Like
Yeah.
this is why I sometimes went like a day or two without playing it, because I was just like, I need to like let my brain absorb what I've been through so far in the
sure.
game, because like it's so story dense.
Yeah, well, like I said, I probably would go back and forth between that and South.
Yeah, that seems
South
like the way
Midland,
to do it.
which is a nice, that's besides the swearing, that game is very light,
Yeah,
hearted. So, yeah, I'd probably bounce between those two games.
Yeah,
and Blueprints if I end up doing that as well.
mm-hmm.
So, well, all right, sir. What do you don't rate games? So I would normally at this point ask you if you would to rate it on our co-op scale.
On the scale,
Yeah,
I would say it's best in class, because there's not really a lot else that does this.
Nice.
There are a few games that do this. This is the best one that I've played.
Well, there you have it, folks.
I'm not really a story and text-based game heavy person. I
Me
like
either.
story in my games, but I like a little bit of gameplay in there as well, which this doesn't have any other than clicking on dialogue boxes. It is in almost every sense a visual novel, except without the anime. Like it is just picking choices from dialogue trees.
It's basically a point and click adventure. With some dialogue decisions
to a certain degree. Yeah, it doesn't have the same kind of like, let's try every item on every interactable.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have that.
It's not like the it's not.
It's
quite
more about the dialogue than the actual puzzling stuff.
So it's the kind of thing that I'm normally like. It's not a genre that I play regularly. I did play a lot of point and click adventure games as a kid, but that has as much to do with what was available as it does with anything else.
The Dig.
I actually played the Dig as an adult.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, either way, check it off the bingo card.
yeah. It is kind of like other things, but nothing that I've played really comes to the same level that it does. Also, I didn't mention this. It's one of the funniest fucking games I've ever played.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's dark humor, but it's funny.
It's dark humor, but also like sometimes there's shit that's just straight up fucking funny. It's not even like dark. It's just like, this is such a ridiculous, absurd thing. It's fucking hilarious. Like I cannot tell you how many times I was laughing as I like. There's a part in this game where you have a shivers check, and it's going through all this like morose dialogue about the city and stuff, and then at one point, one of the dialogue options is a fucking line from a DMX song. You could just say, "Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood, where the hood at."
So this game takes place in modern Earth?
No, it doesn't. That's the thing. It's just like, we put in a DMX lyric for no fucking reason.
So weird.
Except that, like, it's talking about, it mentions home, and so it's like, the hood is your home, it's your neighborhood. So one of the things you can say in response to it mentioning home is, where the hood at? And it's like,
Jesus.
Where the fuck did that come from? I don't know, but you can bet your ass that's the dialogue choice I picked.
Maybe they were on drugs while they were writing this game.
God, I don't know. Maybe
they were having a trip.
Maybe,
just like Nintendo when they were making Mario.
Yeah,
doing mushrooms and stomping on Goombas.
Oh God, what were the Goombas though? What were they seeing as Goombas while they were
hamburgers?
Hamburgers. It's like Miyamoto comes out of a trip and is like all surrounded by all these dead Nintendo employees. Like, oh God, what have I done? And he's like, Mamma Mia! Oh, that could be what the character says.
Yeah, it's a me, Mario. Hey, so good. All right. Well, that is Disco Elysium, folks. Let's get on to the final part of the show, which feels weird after doing what you're playing.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
But there was so much that we just had to be essentially our topic of the week, because how long did I talked for like almost an hour about Disco Elysium.
Hour and 15, something like that.
Jesus Christ. I knew I was going to talk for a while, but...
All right, switching over to Screenshot Scope. Let's do it. That looks very familiar.
That does look familiar.
Is this Demon's Souls?
I'm thinking either Demon's Souls or like BioShock.
No, not BioShock. Oh, you mean Infinite, you mean?
Well, I mean either way, because it's got like this elegance, but also ruins, you know?
I'm going to say Demon's Souls. It looks like the remake.
It does kind of look like the remake.
Oh, it's not. Oh, 76. Oh, it's Dragon Age Veilguard. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Like that art style is screaming that. I don't know what those are though.
That looks like some kind of spectral things.
I'm pretty sure it's Veilguard. Yeah.
There you go. You got that from trees, man. Good job.
Yeah, that art style and that it explains why I've seen it recently.
Yeah,
it's like why it looks so familiar because I'm like, I've played this.
Thoughtful sounds.
Yeah, that's the CC in the game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got anything from this picture though. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there she is.
Oh, yeah, that's a character you recognize?
She's like the first or second companion in the game.
Oh, yeah, that would have given it away.
I have no idea what this is though.
That looks like something like the jaws of something, or maybe a leg turned into architecture.
Well, so in Veilguard, there's two parts in the game that really split the story.
Okay.
So there's like a huge chunk of the game that I just didn't play because I made it one of the choices.
Yeah.
So this may have been from that part of the game that I didn't get to see.
Oh, great game, that'd be really easy if you've played the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right there, I'd have been like, yeah. But I mean,
it's got UI.
This would have given it up.
It's got a character, like.
Yeah. Man, the game's so good. So underrated. Play that game if you haven't played it, people. It's really good.
I'll have to play that. Yet another one to add to the list.
Yeah. All right, number 2. Oh, Ogre Battle?
Yep. I was about to say, those are the tarot cards for Ogre Battle.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Love that game.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's good stuff.
I can hear the music. The music in that game is great.
Yeah. Why they haven't made another one, I do not know.
I mean, they made a bunch, and then they just kind of stopped making them.
Yeah, that is bad.
They did do that remake
video.
of Tactics Ogre that came out. Oh no, you've lost your connection. So I'll just keep vamping for a bit. They did that remake of a remake of, I guess, a remake of Tactics Ogre, because it was. That's a bad what?
That was a bad what?
Oh no.
I'm here.
You said that was a bad and then cut off.
Oh, I'm back now though, right?
Yeah, you're back. Okay, so anyway, it was a Super Nintendo game.
Oh, it was a bad video, is what I said.
Yeah, okay. It was a Super Nintendo game. Then it was ported to the PS1, and then it was ported to the PSP, and now, like, just last year, it was ported to everything with full voice acting.
Yeah, wasn't there? Yeah, it was like a remaster or something.
Yep.
Some sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's very fun.
I recommend it. The director of that game went on to direct Final Fantasy Tactics, which is the most obvious shit in the world if you've played both of them. This, I've done fucking, I don't know. This looks like
It's glasses.
Oh,
it's glasses.
It is glasses. Yeah, this just looks like a photograph of somebody's table.
Huh. I'm trying to think of like a black and white game, maybe.
It's not black and white, is it?
I mean, there's no color. It
white, looks kind of desaturated, but this is also zoomed in. Like, there could be more.
Yeah, it could be a piece of paper.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of is that black and white game I was talking to you about the other week, Unfinished Swan. I don't think it is it, but
well, it's in there, so
yeah.
Nope.
What the hell? That looks real.
Well, except for the character there, but yeah, that.
What the 85%?
Maybe it's one of the Yakuza games. The guy is pretty sharply dressed, so
Yes. That looks real to me. This must be a really new game.
Yeah, you could put in like whatever one of the latest Yakuza games is. Maybe it's that fucking
like a dragon or no Infinite Wealth.
Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
I don't think that looks like pirates. That looks like someone in a suit.
Yeah, but the Yakuza, they wear suits. They're very stylishly dressed Japanese men.
Hawaii. That's not in the game. It's not in here. So
okay, like a dragon.
No.
Okay, no.
Okay, this is real. This is real. I'm sorry. This is not graphics. These are like images. Is this the Guy game? Was that on Wii?
No. And no, this is more clothing than anyone wore in the Guy game.
That's true. Yeah, this is real. Like, this is real life shit. This is some stupid shovelware game that used like live action nonsense. There's no way we're gonna get this. It's a Wii exclusive.
Well, that's again not necessarily. It might have just debuted on the Wii originally. Maybe it's been ported elsewhere.
I couldn't tell you a game that has live action CG from the Wii era. Like,
yeah,
I don't have any guess.
Did you ever play that? Did you ever play that FMV game that came out a few years ago? Late Shift.
What was it?
Late Shift. It was
that's what it was called. I played Her Story.
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about. There was a game. Somebody was like, "Let's do a fucking FMV game now that we can actually do good video quality, and let's get some decent writers on it and decent actors in it and stuff." And it's about a guy who's like a math prodigy who gets swept up in some like I don't know, some like I think it's like Chinese crime family drama over just like it's a tiny little porcelain dish, absolutely nothing, but it's a historical artifact that means a lot to the families, so they're fighting over it, and he gets like swept up in the drama.
Here. I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool looking game.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out on the PlayStation Store. Yeah, I have no idea what this is going to be. A visual novel. That's definitely not helpful.
Oh, God. I don't know.
No clue. We're not going to get this one.
No,
there's no way.
Absolutely no way.
A Wii exclusive visual novel? Like, fuck. Yeah, it's definitely Asian. Like, I have no fucking idea. This could be literally anything under the sun.
Shibuya, they had something for a film on. I don't fucking know.
No. It's a Chunsoft game.
Oh, God, I don't know. I have no idea. I wouldn't even. No. I have no idea. I couldn't even guess.
Oh yeah, like we never get that.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this ever in my life.
Okay, well, moving on.
that could easily just be a fake game, and I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I agree. All right, number 4. I know exactly what this is. It's that pinball game. Something Express? Island Express? Yoku's Island Express, yeah.
Nicely done.
It's because it's a pinball game, but it's not a pinball game, so it's like a platformer, but it's a pinball game. So your character is like
you're describing nothing to me.
Your character is like a dung beetle rolling around a piece of dung, and you're like but it acts like a pinball. So see how it's like go
to the video clip. So oh, okay. Like the environment has stuff in it. Okay.
Yeah, like it's a pinball game, but it's an entire Metroidvania.
Yeah.
World, and the way that you get around is by pinballing around. Yeah. Basically. You can just roll your dude around at times when there's no like pins or anything around. See?
Yeah.
Little dung beetle. It's a great game.
I've never heard of this either.
Oh wow! No, it's a great game. Highly recommend this game. Yeah, 84%. Great game. All right. Number 5. Cool. Well, it doesn't look good. I can say that. Very, very polygonal. So probably Wii PS2 era.
Maybe it's like Just Cause.
Sure.
Looks like you're in a view from a helicopter. No.
80%. Well, I'm definitely right on the generation.
Yeah, that's absolutely not Just Cause. You do not have weird cartoon fucking.
Yeah, that's definitely a PS2 era, I would say.
Oh, that feels almost generous.
Yeah. Well, it's not PS1. It's not blocky enough.
Yeah, I think it's going for a stylized look.
It could be that Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh God, game. Magna Cum Laude? Maybe.
Yeah,
There's no way that got an 80 though.
Oh, true. Well, let's try it anyway. Nope. It is PS2 though. Wow. What is that? So that looks like a mini map, but that's not. I don't recognize that UI at all.
No, neither do I.
That looks like water, and then land. I guess
it looks like that the arrow is where your character is pointed, and then that's like where your camera is pointed. You know, some games do that.
Yeah, and that compass up
here. Could it be fucking Disaster Report like the first one?
80%?
No, but I can't think of anything else.
I'm trying to think of PS2 games with that art style.
I have no idea what looks like this. It's so ugly. It's like they chopped off his leg at the knee and then attached the foot to it. It's so hideous.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to skip this one.
It's so fucking hideous.
This is not helpful. Okay, well, I figured a JRPG made sense. Could it be a Tales game?
No,
early Tales?
No. All the Tales games on the PS2 look way better than that.
An action JRPG. What other action? Oh, Star Ocean?
The Star Ocean games also look way better than that.
Shit. A not great looking game, but it got an 80% though.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that it's a bad game. It just looks like shit. At least from what we see. Maybe the art style will make sense once we see the full screenshots. But the selection they gave us, that looked fucking ugly. That looked like something I would make.
It's not Phantasy Star Online.
No, that wasn't on PS2. Well, there was Phantasy Star Universe, but that's also much better looking than this.
It just looks like this is a chat. See what I mean? Like, what? Gator?
Maybe, but I'm also thinking that maybe like an objective thing, like, hey, remember, do this, do that. Could be, who knows?
I can't think of any other online. I don't know. Action JRPG. 90% rate. The hell does that mean?
Yeah. What was the score again? What was the Metacritic score?
80.
It's not going to be Persona, because those would get even higher than that. Also, Persona looks way better than that.
Yeah, no, it's not Persona.
Could it be Catherine? No, Catherine was a PS3.
Yeah.
It also looks better than that.
It looks better. We might have to skip this screenshot. I have no clue right now. I think we might know this. I just don't. I need more. Oh.
Oh, God.
Is this Sword Art Online?
No, that's too early to be Sword Art Online. But it could be .hack, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
This looks like some kind of cyber armor. Yeah, .hack versus, maybe?
No.
Oh, God.
Tri-Ace. I know this game.
It is Star Ocean. Oh, fuck off.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Which one,
Star
though?
Ocean, oh, fuck me, dude. First Departure and Second Evolution are remakes, so it's not going to be those. The second story is on PS2. Oh, fuck me, dude. Go back
We'll
up.
just guess that one then.
No. That's on PS1. That's on PS1.
Oh, at least a PS2.
Till the end of time. Try that. I think that's on PS2.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Nice.
I can't. What the? Okay, let's see the full version of those screenshots. Hold on. Why is that so Why? Why does that guy in the back look so hideous and everyone else looks fine? What the fuck is up with that?
He's just a big dude.
But he's so small. It looks like a different art style, like from a completely different game. Oh my god. What the fuck?
I'm glad we found out it was Trace.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
How do we get back? Okay. Oh.
I'm gonna say
Kirby?
I was gonna say Animal Crossing. It could be Kirby.
No, I think Animal Crossing might. It looks a little bit more detailed than Animal Crossing can.
Yeah, but the recent Animal Crossing is pretty detailed.
All right. Well, that was Animal Crossing
New Horizons. Yeah.
No, 93 though.
Haven't we seen this before?
Yeah, this looks familiar. No, we haven't though, because it's this looks like Zelda.
Is it Skyward Sword?
Oh no, I think it might be Link's Awakening, the remake.
Okay, try it.
I'm pretty sure it's a Zelda game. It looks Zelda to me.
That would be the appropriate.
No, I do see it's a Wii U game.
Okay,
what the?
Probably
there's a Mario pipe there.
Yeah, it's a Mario thing. Oh god.
Oh, Wii a 3D. Oh, it's a 3D World.
Maybe
it was on Wii U, right?
I think so. I never played
3D.
it.
I think 3D. I think it's 3D World. Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, great game. Underrated.
I should probably play it at some point.
Yeah, it's great.
I couldn't remember if that was only on Switch or if it was also on Wii U.
Yeah, I couldn't either, but I know it was old, so I just couldn't remember how old. I knew it had Nintendo written all over it. That was for sure.
Oh, God.
Well, it's fairly new. That's some high-res texture.
Do look pretty detailed.
So does that wood. That wood looks pretty detailed. Oh. No, it couldn't be that.
If you get this from some cans and a sink, I will be very impressed.
I thought it might have been Tinykin, but Tinykin's a little bit more colorful, so I don't think it's Tinykin.
Give it a try. It'll either be right or wrong, and either way, it'll give us a new screenshot.
No. Ooh, 67. Ooh. That's not good. Well, this looks like a cooking game. I mean, that's two pictures in a kitchen-esque environment. Is there a Cooking Mama game on the Wii U or Wii or Switch?
No, it'd be way more cartoony than this.
Could it be just like a cooking simulator game?
I mean, maybe.
Let's see what Cooking Mama, Cooking Coach.
Maybe.
Let's try Cooking Coach.
Sure.
Nope.
Wow. Okay, hold on. Estate sale, moving day. Oh Jesus, it's on a lot.
Oh.
Is it Life is Strange?
I'm thinking it might be. No, that's a weird art style though. The only vibe I'm getting here is What Remains of Edith Finch.
I have no idea what that game looks like.
It's gorgeous. Let's see. Nope. Whoa.
Okay, somebody in a wheelchair.
Adventure story. I'm thinking this is going to be a game I've never heard of.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get those vibes, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, this has not been a good day for us.
No.
We've just been hitting
duds.
Yeah. But anytime the game is like older than 20 years old, one of us knows it immediately. One or both.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could put Life is Strange. Adventure story makes total sense.
Sure.
It's pretty visually impressive though, but it's not true colors, so it might be.
Maybe
Oh no,
2
it can't
or
be.
Before the Storm.
No, Before the Storm was Life is Strange 1, and those games look better. But I never played 2.
Fuck it, let's try it. What the fuck?
What the 2024?
What? How? We just went from like really realistic looking stuff to a fucking cartoon character?
She looks familiar.
What the fuck is this?
I think it's that Saturday morning cartoon game, but I could have sworn that it was like an action game.
I don't know what game you're talking about.
It's like Saturday Heroes or something like that. Oh, no, it's not Saturday Morning RPG. It could be, but I don't think so. I think Saturday Morning RPG is older.
Well, nothing. We're not going to gain anything else, so. Open Roads team. I don't even know who those are. I have no idea what this is. I could not even begin to fathom a guess.
It's fucking gorgeous, though.
Yeah, it looks nice, but like, what the fuck is it?
This looks like it's got to be Unreal 5 because it's highly detailed.
I mean, maybe
3D rendering,
but that's not really going to help us.
I don't know what it is though. No. Open Roads. Oh yeah, so it's 3D gameplay, and then the cutscenes are animated.
Okay.
I should have known. I should have known that one. It's not a good game though.
Well, from Open Roads team, if I knew that there was a game called Open Roads, I probably would have.
Yeah, I never even clicked. All right. Damn.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's just games that I've never heard of today.
Well, that looks like a Zelda sign.
It does look like a Zelda sign. I was going to say...
I don't know if it is.
It looks like something I would have sliced to 8 ways in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. It could be.
I love how they let you do that. Like, what an amazing level of detail to put into that.
For no reason whatsoever.
For no reason whatsoever. Like, we'll have this game that is, pretty cool. And then we'll put in fucking, like, Metal Gear Rising fucking physics only for the signpost. For the 8 directions that you can slash it.
Not Zelda. 85. Oh, is this World of Goo? Yeah. Or World of Goo 2. Try World of Goo 1, though. No, it's World of Goo 2. We should have known from the higher res looking detail there. I forgot this game even came out, to be honest with you.
My dad played this game, actually, and I
played the original.
I didn't. I meant to, and then it just never happened. It just
never happened. Yeah. It's an okay game, the first one. I never really saw the hype that the first one had.
Yeah, I was just kind of surprised that like I saw my dad playing a computer game that wasn't a browser like color matching game. I was like, wow. When did my dad start buying computer games? But he likes puzzle games, so
yeah. Well, this looks like Persona as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's not Persona 5 because it's not good enough looking. It's not Persona 4, so I'm going to say it's probably Persona 3.
Could be
the original.
Could be.
I don't know what the fuck is that. What it's called?
Go back up. Up. Back to the top. Oh. There you go.
Oh, okay, but it is a Shin Megami Tensei game.
It is a Persona game. Okay, maybe it is Persona 4. That was also a PS2 game, so...
That's surprising if it's 4. Nope.
Oh, so now they're... Oh my god. Original...
Now they're telling us the original release.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell this is, if it was originally released. Oh, it was Wait, what? It was originally released on the Switch?
So it is
it's a Shin Megami Tensei Persona game.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Christ.
It's got to be a spin-off game that I've never heard of.
Yeah. I don't even know what of those. What didn't they put out SMT4?
Oh, it could be Strikers, those weird spin-off games. Oh my god, there's so many Persona games.
Yeah.
I have no fucking
idea. And is
it
Persona or is it Megami Tensei? Like, is it going to be Like, could this be SMT4, which but that was originally on the PS2. So it can't be that, right? Oh my god.
It can't be 4. It's definitely not 5 because 5 released on modern consoles first. It had a original release on that. It's got to be one of the weird ones. So let's look for a weird one here. Well, I mean, we could try Strikers.
Sure.
I don't think it looks that good though.
I've never played any of the Persona games, so I have no fucking idea.
It's turn-based. Okay, so it's a core game. What the fuck? What is this? What is this bullshit? What else is in here? Original release on. Oh, could it be this Dancing in the Moonlight thing, maybe?
No, it's that's a rhythm game, I believe. What is this?
Oh, Persona 4 Arena? Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know what Q2 is.
Maybe it's that one. Who knows? Because Persona Q was a DS game, so maybe this is a Switch game.
No.
Oh, that is fucking SMT4, I think, or fucking.
No, I don't recognize that at all. And I've beaten Persona 4. And
yeah, but I'm not talking about Persona 4. I'm talking about Shin Megami Tensei 4.
This one?
Yeah.
No.
Jesus Christ. Then what was the other one? God, there's so many of these games. Is it 5? Is it 5? Try SMT 5. No, just try it. Just try it. SMT 5.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, there's so many of these fucking games.
Yeah, that was just luck. But that was just entirely luck. Just because we know what it was.
Yeah.
Good Lord. What the? Oh,
Shadowgate?
Yeah, I was gonna say Shadowgate.
Boom. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's a tough game.
It's way easier on the NES than it is anywhere else.
What? When we're at time-wise, we got one more.
Banished.
That the river doesn't look right, but I guess it. Oh, nope, it's not in here.
What?
Nope. That river doesn't look right.
That's the most banished shit I've ever seen.
It is banished looking, but yeah, that river's too colorful. That game is bleaker and brown shit.
Oh no, it's not that. It's brown.
That game is brown as fuck.
No. It's also green and it's also blue. Okay,
fine. But I don't remember that the river's that blue and banished. There's no way.
To be fair, neither do I. But I also haven't played it in a while.
I have no idea what this is though from the screenshot.
Neither do I. Fuck me.
Looks old.
I mean, it doesn't look too old. It could be more recent, and they just have low poly trees. Because who the fuck's gonna zoom in that much? Or maybe it's black and white too. I don't fucking know. I never played black and white too. I played the first one.
A 94? What the shit is this?
Why did you skip? Why didn't you guess black and white too?
Because it's a turn-based game. Right here.
Well, we could have still come up with something. Come on, man.
Well, we only have 9 minutes, so I'm trying to move this one.
Oh, fuck.
I
Jesus
have no idea.
Christ. I don't
94? Know. Is this not popular Civilization again?
It could be. Like Civilization.
It's a turn-based game, though. At 94?
I don't know.
There are horses on a grid, but the problem is I don't see a grid here.
Okay, put in Civilizations. Just we'll get it out of the way.
I'm not sure which one though.
Who fucking cares? Any of them?
It is a Civ game.
Okay, it is. All right.
Oh, this looks old. This is not a new one. This is going to be 3. It's going to be 4 or lower.
Well, it's not 2.
Okay, well it's 3 or 4 then, because it's not 5.
Yeah, so try 3.
4. Oh.
Or try 4. 3? Whichever. It doesn't matter. Either one.
Well, I can't find...
okay, well then 4.
So go 4. Hey, it's 4.
Is 3 just not in there? What a weird fucking thing to do.
Yeah. It could have been I, and I just had to type in I. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember...
I thought I thought they were on a hex grid by this point.
They are. That's why I was like, this is not a Civ game at first. But then I'm like,
that's a square
I remember
grid.
horses being on the grid constantly.
What the? I don't know. Whatever.
They must have changed it to hexagon at some point. Obviously, it was 5 because 5 is definitely a hexagon grid, not a square grid. Unless maybe you had the options to change it to a square grid.
That wouldn't make sense. That would so fundamentally change the way that things work, though.
Yeah. So maybe 4 and below are all
maybe
square grids. Well, that is our show, ladies and gentlemen.
That was fucking long.
Just before the buzzer.
Yeah.
Just before the buzzer. If you want to reach me on BlueSky, I'm at TJ-Leo.
And I am at Ninjas on the same service.
And you can email us at co.up.podcast@gmail.com.
You too could be an old school legend, not the. That position is already taken, but you too could write into our show just like old school legend.
You could be a legend of your own, but not an old school legend.
No, that's just impossible. The position is filled.
Yeah.
We have our old school legend, and that is it.
The first writer in letter time.
Yep.
Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. I'm not going to point anymore because I can't.
So you can see that fucking subscribe button light up.
See it light up.
Have you checked that out yet?
No. If I sign out, I'll just get pissed off because the next time I go in, I'll just be like, I'll just forget to do it. I'll be like, oh, now I got to sign in. Fuck. I don't want to risk all the setup that I have because technical issues be damned. I got to deal with enough technical problems on this end. Yeah. All right, we will be back next week. This has been episode 40 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast.
Get your prostate checked. And also get back to gaming.